What? Hey guys, welcome in. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Thanks for spending it with us. We got so much Indiana news, politics, and government to get to today. We're going to start with the big story, which came down from the Supreme Court. And you guys know, we delve into the national every so often, and we do that if it has an impact here on us in the state of Indiana. We talk about how it will. And obviously, there was a massive ruling yesterday involving the Supreme Court and birthright citizenship. So we'll spend quite a bit of time on that today in our opening segment. We have a lot of local stuff to get to on the program today, which is, of course, if you're new, welcome. So glad you're with us. That's where our bread is buttered. Indiana news, politics, and government, the way you can't get it anywhere else. You've got Braun with another opportunity to remake the IURC. We've got now Braun taking a victory lap again over overtaxing you and admitting that he's overtaxing you. And a lot more to get to on the program today. So we'll get to the birthright citizenship stuff in just a moment. Couple of housekeeping items before we delve into the show today. First of all, we got asked about this. No show on Friday. That is our 4th of July holiday celebration. We're going to take it off. Mainly, my kid is off daycare for a week and a half. And Friday is the one day I don't have somebody in charge. So that means I'm in charge. I pay. Who pays the price? I pay. So Friday, no show. Enjoy your long holiday weekend. We'll be back here Monday. Hope you have a great 4th of July. And so wanted to remind everybody about that we were doing that on Friday, taking that off. Couple of other reminders. If you haven't done so yet, start the show off right. Hit that little thumbs up button. It's part of that 3-step process to help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. We call it like, share, and subscribe. First of all, thumbs up. You watch us live on YouTube, watching us on demand on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. Second step, share the show out. Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're listening from. The water cooler. Share the feed out. Let people know about the Rob Kendall Show. That's how we grow. And third, and maybe most important of all, whatever format you're listening to us on, watching us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, man, the on-demand listeners, you guys have been amazing the past month. Huge growth over there. Subscribe to the channels. We call it like, share, and subscribe. That's the way you can help us grow the program. All right, let's get to the content of the day. We will get to birthright citizenship in just a moment. But there was fascinating audio yesterday from Joe Hogsett, the mayor of Indianapolis. And this centers around the Indy Star and Mere Indy running a big expose, multiple pieces of reporting. Great job by Mere Indy and the Indy Star. Full disclosure, of course, I do write a somewhat regular guest column, opinion piece on the Indy Star. By the way, I saw somebody yesterday who's into business who was outraged over the fact that I got to write a piece in the Star, and they were all mouthy about it, and they were talking about, and there's a big, look, there are some real dumbasses that work in our business, and they have platforms for some reason. It's really a statement about the condition of the business, but they were lamenting. Now, this is a person I've known for years. Not all that long ago, they picked up the phone and asked me something. They were lamenting I need to pull it up. The journalism, the biased journalism, I think is what they said. And this is one of the things I'm getting great at as I age on. It's one of the things I get great at as I age on. I just don't respond to things anymore. I used to always respond. And then I'm like, is it really? Oh, what is it? That's right. I sent it to you, didn't I?
Oozing with passive-aggressive bias.
Okay, stop. Oozing with passive-aggressive bias. And quietly loaded undertones. Oozing with passive-aggressive bias and what was the other part? Quiet something undertones. Quietly loaded undertones. And I'm reading this and I'm like, you are either dumb beyond belief. I don't even know. I think that's what it might be. Because it's an opinion piece. That's the job of the opinion piece. There is no journalism. And by the way, there is no undertones. The piece is an Indy Star. You can go read it now. Diego Morales, who the Republicans, who this guy's buddies with, by the way, they love these guys. did nothing about Diego. The piece is about, there's no undertones to it. There's no journalism to it. It's an opinion piece. I love the hatred that I get from people who on numerous occasions throughout my life have asked my advice and pretended to be my friend. I love, like, there's no undertone to it. Here's what it says. It's pretty damn direct. The Republicans knew what Diego was. The Republicans covered it up. The Republicans hid it. The Republicans excused it. And then they bailed on him because they knew he was going to lose because Greg Ballard got in the race and Greg Ballard was going to make the ballot. There ain't no undertones to it. Yeah, it's biased as hell. It's called opinion piece. It's what I do here every day. It ain't no different. You guys read my stuff in the Star, it's this show, which is the same show I did for 6 years. So apparently, other people are allowed to have opinions, but I'm not. That's where we're at now in the Republican Party. You ain't allowed to think. Anyway, I don't even know how I got on that. That's why I love this show. I'll get on a rant and go, how'd I get on that? I don't even know. Point is, Indy Star. The Indy Star. And by the way, these people, what is the deal with these people who totally have my phone number, who used to talk to me for years, who when they wanted something and no problem picking up the phone, including very recently, suddenly being Billy badasses in group chats or on the internet, they can't call me if they got a question about it. Like, would that really bother you that much? Oh my gosh. Rob wrote a piece saying the Republicans covered up Diego Morales, and the only reason they got rid of him was because Greg Ballard got in the race and was going to make the ballot, and they knew he was going to lose. That is what sets you off? That's what inflames you? Get out of here. Anyway, Indy Star. So there... can't get fired twice. So the Star caught up with Joe Hogsett. Star Mirror Indy caught up with Joe Hogsett, and they asked him about their reporting. And of course, the story is, the allegation is by the Star by Mirror Indy that mega donors presented a wish list to City Hall after Hogsett was elected, reelected, etc. And said, essentially, here's the contracts we would like. Here's the projects we would like. Thank you. Have a nice day. I mean, it totally comes off as pay for play. And we had Jesse Braun, who is a member of the city council, on Monday's show. He said on our show, you can go back and watch the interview. All of our interviews are posted under the video section of the YouTube. That he is hearing from people inside Hogsett's orbit, not just like people, random outsiders, but people inside Hogsett's orbit that think there could be criminal investigations because of this. So, of course, this has now started the whole criminally investigate Hogsett from the Republicans, which is hilarious given that the same people who said absolutely nothing about Diego Morales now suddenly are demanding that Ryan Mears criminally investigate Joe Hogsett. Look, Joe Hogsett is a rotten, horrible person. He has been a disaster for the city. You probably could find numerous things. You probably can find numerous things. This probably rises to the level of needing a criminal investigation. But it is completely laughable that the same people who covered up, as Todd Rokita described it, the Attorney General, scandals plural. Remember, Rokita, when he talked about why he pulled his Diego endorsement, used the term scandals with an S. That's the Attorney General. But the same people who did nothing about Diego can't sprint to their nearest cellular telephone or microphone or wherever they can be heard to demand Hogsett be criminally investigated. It's hilarious. It's why nobody takes anyone serious anymore. Look, if you'd been all in on we got to investigate Diego, we got to get to the bottom of Diego, we got to get accountability for Diego, and then you come to me and say, hey, we need to investigate Hogsett. I'm taking you serious. But in terms of scandals, Diego's every bit, probably even more rotten and or brazen about it than Hogsett. Now, the Star caught up with Hogsett, and they asked him if there should be further investigations based on their reporting. And listen to this bizarre, rambling, incoherent answer that Hogsett gave. Take a listen.
Do you think the public needs a fuller accounting of why your campaign fundraiser arranged for a wish list to be delivered by city contractors?
Well, I'm not conceding that. I've called that absurd. But let me tell you something. If your reporting, which has been extensive, to say the least, is not sufficient for the people of Indianapolis to identify and make their own judgments about whether any wrongdoing occurred, I don't believe any lengthy, expensive further investigation is necessary.
Okay, so first of all, he's like, I'm not saying your reporting even happened. But if it did, you guys did all the work already. So what good would any sort of formal investigation from somebody with actual authority do? That is the mayor of the capital city. I don't concede that your investigative or journalism is accurate. But if it were, you guys have already done all the work. So what good's it going to do to have any formal investigation into what I may or may not have done? And he said it completely with a straight face. And he probably believes it. He's basically saying, you peasants already know what I did. You've known what I mean, it is amazing how Diego and Hogsett sort of just mirror each other. How they're basically walking down the same path. Everybody knew what they were when they were elected. Everybody's known what they are the entire time they've been in office. Their parties, different parties, have completely covered it up. They have sat silent. They've done nothing. I mean, we still have no idea where Hogsett was during the riots. And let me rephrase that. Yes, correct, Jason. We know where he was during the riots. There's never been any formal acknowledgement of where Hogsett was during the riot, or Hogsett had never provided any proof whatsoever as to where he claims he was during the riots, which the story seems to have shifted and changed over time. There, how about that? And yet, these people keep getting away with it because their parties, the two major parties, have 100% been complicit in covering it up, not holding the people accountable. I mean, remember the time Hogsett got up on stage at some campaign thing and was slurring his words and, I'm not running for nothing. I'm running from something. And everybody's like, yeah, it's fine. The mayor's he had a long day. Oh, did he? Because slurring is part of having a long day. Or remember when Hogsett showed up and claimed he got beat up by his trash can? Remember that? I mean, but it's no different than, all the crap Diego pulled. I mean, is it any more ridiculous than a guy going to India for 10 days with a dude who has a state contract who's bragging about selling visa access? Oh, and a venture capitalist went with them as well. And the Republicans don't do anything about it. Is it any more different than Diego showing up at the NBA Finals with a guy who went down on federal bribery charges? Nobody does anything about it. Is it any more different than Diego giving out no-bid contracts to mega donors? Oh, gee, seems familiar. The Venn diagram is crossing now. And nobody does anything about it. They're the same guy. So the hypocrisy of the Republicans who demand accountability on Joe Hogsett, yet their guy was right in front of them doing very similar stuff in some cases, some of it more egregious than the stuff Hogsett's done, and nothing. So Hogsett actually gets asked about this as part of the question, because one of the people who has been shouting the loudest about demanding an investigation into Hogshead, a criminal investigation, is Andrew Ireland, state rep. Now, of course, Andrew, just like the rest of his Republican colleagues, has done nothing about Diego. Andrew thought it was funny to the point one time he came on the old radio show and read us his receipts of a trip he took, I believe it was to Washington, D.C., to mock Diego and what he was doing with the India trip. So to Andrew, it was fun and games. He did nothing about Diego. But he's demanding that there be a criminal investigation into Hogshead. And so, oh, by the way, according to Andrew's Twitter profile, and I think this is correct, I have no idea, no reason to doubt him, he was a part of the Attorney General's office before he was a state rep. So, if you want to look up the poster child for hypocrisy are us, it's Andrew Ireland, who, when it's another party, they can't demand accountability fast enough. When it's their own guy, it's nothing. Oh, and they give him the money. Because Andrew Ireland voted for the budget, which fully funded Diego's office, for Diego to continue to do all of the Diego stuff. So Hogshead gets asked about Ireland demanding a criminal investigation into him and what he's done. And here's what he had to say about that.
Yeah, I think that's performative, representative who's calling for such investigations. I think has a reputation for being controversial and saying controversial things. He's been very critical of the Marion County prosecutor, who I think, frankly, his story or his assertions are more about the prosecutor than they are about the administration. The administration just happens to be the middleman.
Again, you hear this. And what is it with this? Braun's the same way. You hear these guys say something and you're like, why can't you speak? Why can't you normal English like the rest of us? I mean, I think that the quote was insightful because Hogshead sees zero accountability from his side in what's happened with violence in the city of Indianapolis. The answer to that is all the sides are accountable. The judges, the justice system, the prosecutor's office, the mayor's office, the city itself. They're all, to their own extent, they play a role in it. And nobody, and we've talked about this for years now, nobody's willing to be the first one to raise their hand and go, all right, I'll take my share of the blame. Now, let's point at you and talk about your share of the blame, but I'll own mine first so we can all come together and figure this thing out. You hear in that answer, Hogshead doesn't believe that he has any accountability whatsoever for violence in the city of Indianapolis. Bizarre pivot. Yeah, Andrew Ireland is a complete hypocrite because he won't do anything about Diego. Of course he is. But two things can be true at the same time. Diego can be corrupt and you can be corrupt. Yeah, they're not, it's not one or the other. You all should be investigated. That's the answer. The answer is every single one of you people should be investigated. Because you've all, to certain extents, Hogshead and Diego, pulled high levels of bullcrap on the taxpayers of your respective communities. In the case of Diego, it's the state that you help oversee, that you help run. I mean, when you hear Hogshead speak, and you recognize the next mayor, which we'll find out next year, is either going to be him or Vop Osley, who's done nothing about him, or Senator Andrea Hundley, who senators, but I mean, you hear her speak and you're like, not much there. The cupboard's kind of empty. You look at this and you go, how would anything ever get better in the city? How would anything ever change in the city? The answer is nothing's going to change in the city. Just like nothing's going to change in the Statehouse if you elect the Republican nominee for Secretary of State. Voting, and some Jesse Braun said the other day, and he's absolutely right, and I've never heard it worded this way, but he's correct. I've always said the term votes are earned, they're not given. He said it a different way. And there's some merit to what he said. Voting is a negotiation. If you just roll over and vote for someone without getting any sort of guarantees for what you want, then you deserve whatever you get. And in the case of, you won't be able to vote for the mayor for another year and a half. Well, another year now. You will, however, be able to vote for Secretary of State this fall. If you vote for the Republican nominee for Secretary of State without any sort of guarantees or obligations to hold the last 4 years accountable, then you're confirming the behavior of Diego Morales. And even if you get some sort of guarantee, there's no, I feel like Austin Powers, allow myself to introduce myself. There's no guarantee that the guarantee you got, they're going to follow through, because most of the times they don't. They just ignore it. So I've been left with, for a while, if you vote for any Republican nominee for Secretary of State, whoever it may have been, you're essentially going to confirm the behavior of the past 4 years and saying not holding that accountable is okay. All right, let's get to the birthright citizenship stuff in just a moment. But first, do you guys have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence is locally owned. Owners Kelly and Jeff, they have 3 dogs of their own. They like and believe in All-American Dog Fence so much that they bought the business. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products, designed and manufactured in the United States with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606, 317-862-6606, or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com, allamericandogfence.com. How about this for an incredible deal? Mention the Rob Kendall Show, get incredible $200 off. Mention the Rob Kendall Show, get incredible $200 off. All right. So let's talk about what the Supreme Court did yesterday. And at the core of it, by a 6-3 vote. Now, one of them will excuse because it was on semantics rather than the birthright citizenship stuff itself. So actually, I'm going to say 5-4 vote. We're going to excuse Kavanaugh for now because Kavanaugh voted against Trump's executive order, but his thing was not the birthright citizenship. It was that Trump didn't have the power to do the executive order the way he did it, going back to a federal law from the 1940s. And I could go into that, but I want to keep you awake. So I'm going to just remove Kavanaugh for now, in which Kavanaugh is basically saying if this had been done differently and if it had been written differently, I would be open to agreeing with it. So I'm going to remove him. So basically, let's just say this. 5 justices, including 2 Republican appointees, including Amy Coney Barrett, who was appointed by Trump, who we warned you, if you go back, now I know they've erased me mostly from all WIBC history, but if you have the capacity to go back in a time machine, back to 2020, when she was nominated, I was one of the few people, and as usual, was like, oh, Rob's so negative about everything. Rob hates everything. Rob just can't enjoy anything. And I said, whoa. I said, if you look at this woman's actual voting record as a justice, she's very good on the life. And I have no doubt she will vote to overturn Roe versus Wade, which she did. But I said, on everything else, kind of squirrely. Or as one of my former people I used to spend time around says now about this show, kind of goofy. I said, look, is she going to be better than Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Yes, of course. But I think you guys are going to be somewhat disappointed on some other stuff if indeed she is affirmed to the Supreme Court. And I think that's been a pretty accurate representation. Has she been better than Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Yes. But that's like saying on a 10 scale, we had a 2 or a 1, and then we got a 5.5. Yes. Is a Broad Ripple 5.5 or a 6 better looking than a Broad Ripple 1? Of course. But if you're saying I could have had a Broad Ripple 9, are you really thrilled with going home with a Broad Ripple 5.5? The answer is no. And we could have there were a lot of Broad Ripple 9s at our disposal, and we chose a Broad Ripple 5.5. That's on Trump. Oh, and some of the other politicians who are really in favor of Coney Barrett, who maybe we'll read some of that later for fun. It was funny. Going back in the time machine. What Indiana politicians were super in favor of Amy Coney Barrett? And so what Coney Barrett, along with John Roberts, said yesterday, along with the three idiots, is that citizenship actually means nothing. When you get right down to it, that's what they were saying. Being a citizen, the process of becoming a part of this country, it actually means nothing. And we kind of been saying that as a country for years, what with the HB1 visas and all the people we've brought in and all the people that we stay and the TPS stuff. Now, of course, Trump's trying to get rid of some of that. But we kind of said that for years. Citizenship's more an idea. And hey, if you do it the right way, you're kind of just a big sucker. Yeah, we throw a little party for you. We let you have a swearing-in ceremony. And we say, oh, welcome to the country. But really what we're kind of saying is you're just a big old sucker. And yesterday, by essentially a 5-4 vote, 6-3 was the final vote, but it really, on the merit of birthright citizenship, it was a 5-4 vote. The Supreme Court said, you can enter this country illegally. You can enter this country as a non-citizen. You can be temporarily allowed to be in the country. You can have a child here, and that child is afforded the same rights, the same benefits as the rest of us. Does that make any sense to anyone? Like, remove the legalese of it. If I just asked you that on just a purely common sense question, hey, does it make sense to you that some person can break the law, enter this country illegally, and then their children are afforded all the rights as citizens? Like just as a general question, does that make any sense to you? Why would anyone ever be a citizen? I mean, this all emanates, 14th Amendment, out of slavery. The birthright citizenship stuff emanates out of slavery. If you go back, it's called original intent. That is a huge part of what any Supreme Court justice should take into when they're ruling on the Constitution, the rule of law. What was the original intent? At the time, whatever it is was put in place, what were the lawmakers? What were the deciders? What were they trying to accomplish? What were they trying to say in the moment? Yes, being a textualist matters, but so does original intent. And you put those two together and you come up with, what did the law actually say? Obviously, in the 1860s, they couldn't fathom the idea that we would have a country that would just allow any person to just stroll across the border and say, welcome to the USA. I think they didn't fathom that at the time. That there were, and they certainly didn't fathom there would be tens of millions of people doing that. The original intent, rightfully so, birthright citizenship, was to ensure that slaves and descendants of slaves were allowed to be citizens of the country. A great idea, right? I don't think any normal person would be like, that was a horrible idea. No, that was their intent. Their intent in a Civil War and post-Civil War society was to say, these people, leave there no doubt that any person born in this country, slaves, are citizens of the United States and are eligible to all of the rights, all of the privileges thereof. That's what it was all about. That's very clearly what the people of the day were trying to say when they wrote the amendment that allowed birthright citizenship. It's why it's worded the way it's worded. And the idea that you could extrapolate that to some person who willfully enters the country illegally, people, plural, who willfully enter the country illegally, have children here, and then their kids get to stay here forever and get all the rights of us. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And it should scare the hell out of all of us that 5 of the 9 most powerful people in our country said, yeah, that's what they meant. So Stephen Miller, one of the chief advisors to the president, he was on Fox News yesterday, asked about the ruling, and I thought he summed it up pretty well. Take a listen to Stephen Miller, one of the chief advisors to the president.
But this is absolutely a deep knife wound in the heart of the American Republic. Look, Jesse, I can step tomorrow onto the deck of a 747. It does not mean that I am the pilot of that plane and I'm qualified to fly it. Just physically being on U.S. soil does not make you a citizen or qualified to carry on or capable of executing the inheritance of this country. We have people from all over the world, from third world nations that on their own would have never invented the wheel, let alone modern technology, let alone medicine, let alone air travel. And they can just come into the country, have a baby at a hospital, paid for by you and me, and then that baby's automatically a citizen. That baby can sit on a jury when he turns 18 and sit in judgment of you, and sit in judgment of me, and sit in judgment of our loved ones, can decide who our mayors are, our governors are, our presidents are. Citizenship means nothing if it is open to everyone.
Yeah, producer Jason just made a good point during that clip. That person can be president of the United States, and it will happen. It will happen. You will see, maybe within my lifetime, I don't know, the way we're going now, I don't know, that a citizen of illegal immigrants, 2 illegal immigrants, will become president of the United States. And we're not just talking about Mexico here, people. Any country, Iran, China, Russia, any of them, Syria. Like there is a strong likelihood now within our lifetime, my lifetime, that will happen. On what planet does that make any sense? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So it's not like, oh, the fix is in. But I would be fascinated to, and look, they give the rulings, and I read part of Coney Barrett's reasoning, wrote the majority opinion. I would be fascinated to sit down and have a conversation with her about that and say, why would anybody come to the country legally? Why would they sit for 7, 8 years and go through the process if all they got to do is get here? I mean, somebody said this yesterday on Twitter, and they're right. Trump should just immediately say, we are executing ICE into overdrive. And we are getting as many of these people out of this country as we possibly can. I'm shutting down tourist visas for 2 years. Nobody's coming in. We'll fix it one way or another. And if we're not going to use common sense, then maybe we got to get a little more intense with how we go about it. That is insane. Now, Sam Alito, the greatest justice. I think you could make a compelling case. Alito is the greatest justice ever in the history of the Supreme Court. Now, I know there are some who are partial to others, including Clarence Thomas. And that's fine. I'm not going to have some Lincoln Douglas style debate over it. Everybody's got their favorites. But I think, especially when you look at the past 4 or 5 years, you make a compelling case. Sam Alito's the greatest justice to ever sit on the Supreme Court. His ruling yesterday his dissent yesterday was fabulous. Fox News, when the news came down, read part of it. We have the audio of it. Here's Fox News reading part of Alito's dissent. It was great. Take a listen.
separate dissent. He said the court's interpretation also has national security implications. Suppose that a person's only connection to this country is that he was born here to a mother who was present just long enough to give birth and then quickly return to her native country. Suppose that country is a strategic adversary or enemy of the United States. Suppose the child never visited the United States while growing up and was inculcated with hatred of this country. According to this court now, that person is a citizen of the United States. He can enter and leave the country as he pleases. He can travel the world on a United States passport. Even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen, at least under current precedent. He goes on to say that this decision today also provides a powerful incentive to enter or remain in this country illegally. He goes on to say, in my judgment, the court has made a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future. So,
yeah, it's perfect. I mean, he's absolutely right. That scenario now can play out. You can have some person who is born in the United States, who leaves the United States, lives in a country, Iran, whoever, right? That is an adversary of the United States, and that at any point, conceptually, could return to the United States. And you don't think that might raise some red flags about what that person's doing here? But unlike the other people who are here illegally, there's nothing you can do to them unless you can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt exactly what they're doing. And yesterday, I'm not surprised about the 3, but 2 Republican-appointed justices said, yes, that's fine. Again, without a doubt, without debate, without discussion, the birthright citizenship issue was put in place to protect, and rightfully so, slaves of this country who were freed during the Civil War, post-Civil War, to leave no doubt that those people were afforded all rights, all abilities of citizens of this country. 100% without debate or discussion, the right thing to do. But to use that as some excuse to say people who willfully break the laws of this country by entering this country and then their children become citizens of the United States is crazy. Again, we're not talking about, which has long been settled, if a citizen and a non-citizen have a child together, that person's a citizen. We're not talking about that. That has not been objected to. One of the parents is a citizen, that person's a citizen. No debate or discussion there. We're talking about 2 people illegally entering the country who have no right to be here whatsoever. None. Or even these people who are on temporary worker status. Let's talk about that for a second, right? How could you allow somebody into the country to work? You're coming here. We're saying with a temporary worker status, you're coming here to do something that we can't do, or we need you to do, or that betters us, so you get the privilege of coming here. Oh, but then you have a child, and now you get to stay forever, because that's what will happen. Oh, and that kid gets all our rights. We never deal from a position of strength in this country. We're always a donor country. You guys notice that? We are the biggest, most powerful, most important country in the entire world, and we always operate from a position of weakness. We always give to other people rather than people giving to us. Now, Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. He was asked about this yesterday, of course. And he said correctly, and I got a lot of issues with Johnson, but on this one he's spot on. He said this ruling is going to create massive problems for the United States. Take a listen.
I mean, you could say that's a textualist, originalist view. However, I do think that this has been grossly abused in recent years, okay? And that is the case that was being made by the plaintiffs in the case, and we're very sympathetic to that because it is a serious problem. We have it's become a tourism, birthing tourism, they call it, a trend where people will just come and you just come onto the soil and have your child, and then they're able to avail themselves of the welfare state and everything else. It's been abused. It's one of those things that was intended to serve a noble and important purpose and has been thwarted and and overused and abused. And so I'm sure that we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I'm sure the conclusion from this opinion is going to be that you got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history. And the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as a Congress.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right. This is insane. The idea that people can come to this country either illegally or temporarily and not be citizens and have children and those people become citizens. I mean, you are, I don't know how you rule the way they ruled yesterday and not say, we are just cheering for the decline of the United States. Or it would be true for any country. How you cannot put the most basic of parameters around society, which is, in order to be a citizen, you have to come from at least one citizen, is beyond me. And look, he can and I think he alluded to this, Johnson did there. They're not doing a constitutional amendment. You're never going to get a constitutional amendment ever again, at least not in the current form. We got to get 2/3 of the states on board and the supermajorities for the House. And you're not doing that. It's over. Trump should do everything he can in his power now to eradicate people coming into this country. If the Supreme Court's going to say these are the rules, which, I'm a good law-abiding American. I believe in following all legal precedents until they're no longer legal precedent. So that means if that's the rule, Trump should cut it off. Cut it off. I mean, by the standard they laid out yesterday, the hundreds of thousands of people that are in this country right now for the World Cup, any of them who have children, conceive a child while they're here, that person's a U.S. citizen. What freaking planet are we living on where that seems logical? Hey, I came here for the World Cup. Great, glad you're here. Yeah, she got pregnant while she's here. Guess our kid's a citizen now. That means we get to stay too. How about that? Why wouldn't everyone do that? This is not 1865 anymore. It's not even 1965. It's 2026. You are inviting the destruction and the decline of America. And I don't think it makes me an ist or a phobe, because my views on immigration are pretty simple. I believe in a very big wall and a very wide gate, as I heard it described years ago. I am pro-immigration. I am pro-legal immigration. I am pro-words having meaning. I am pro-being an American having meaning. What the Supreme Court did yesterday was dilute the meaning of being an American. They're saying it doesn't matter anymore. It's not something that should be special. It's not something that you should revere. It's not something that you should covet. It's not something that you should wake up every day being thankful for. You can just do it this way. Hey, World Cup people, welcome to America. Hope you have a good time. All right, let's take a break, because there was something else that happened at the Supreme Court yesterday that was pretty wild, that said a lot about how the mainstream media actually operates, how they're totally cheering for stuff. This was a wild story that not a lot of people are talking about. It doesn't have anything to do with the judge's rulings, but how the media covered yesterday. And I want to tell you about that when we come back. We've got Braun. He's got another chance to remake the IURC. All the huffing and puffing about our utility rates. He's got another appointment coming up. We'll see what happens with that. We'll talk about that. We got so much stuff to get to today, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the Central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. If you haven't done so yet, give us that little thumbs up right there on the YouTube feed. Really helps us grow, whether you're watching us live or on demand. Also, robkendallshow.com. If you haven't been over there yet, check it out. Don't forget, we have a support button up there. If you like what we do, want to throw a few shekels our way, we always appreciate that. We put it to good use. I really need Jason to get some sort of sinus infection again or something so I can I got sick and nobody gave a damn about that. You go under. People are just throwing money your way. Yeah. So don't forget, support button, robkendallshow.com. If you like what we do, we appreciate all of you who've supported our show over the past, what are we on now? March, April, May, June, 4 months. We're going on our fifth month. We're entering our fifth month of the Rob Kendall Show. Hey, let's talk about Braun and the IURC here in a moment because it's going to be fascinating. There's some big drama with this, especially after all of Braun's huffing and puffing about AES. We'll get to that in a second. We'll come back to the Supreme Court, the birthright citizenship stuff in just a little bit because there was something that happened yesterday that was like, man, we gotta talk about this. But first, you want to build wealth through real estate? Whether you're buying your first rental property or growing an investment portfolio, financing matters. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps investors explore loan options designed for rental properties and long-term wealth building. As a local mortgage advisor, Gary works one-on-one with investors to help them understand their financing options and create a strategy that fits their goals. Learn more at loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes, Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 179207, equal housing lender. All right, so Mike Braun is going to get another opportunity to remake the IURC. Of course, he had 3 appointments earlier this year. They then, well, the new board, not all of his appointments, but the new board then decided to vote to give AES the ability to raise rates by $70+ million. So it's a tax increase. You know, when we talk about utility rates, they're tax increases. They can call them rate increases all they want. They're tax increases because you don't have an option. You have to pay what they say to whom they say to pay it, they being the government. And I don't know about you guys, but and look, I'm very blessed, right? I work here. My wife has a job. Very, very blessed. I know we're better off than other people. But I look at this heat wave this week and it's like, damn, what do you guys keep your thermostat at, by the way? Because we're normally at 70 in the summer. I told my wife, I said, hey, sorry, go into 71. She said, that's fine. My major concern was the air conditioner. I don't want the air conditioner to go out. What do you guys keep your thermostat at? What do you keep your house at in the summer? And then obviously you run into, hey, if my heating bill goes, or a cooling bill, summer, goes up $50-$60, it sucks. It's going to put a dent in my wallet, but I can pay it. There's a lot of people who can't. There's a lot of people who struggle to pay it. The senior citizen people, fixed income people. And so these rates, as they continue to rise, and I think one of the things that really makes people angry about the utility bills is the fact that it seems like the bills have gone up. The massive spike in rate increases has coincided with the arrival of the data center people and the amount of electricity those people use. And people feel like our rates keep going up so that big corporations can be able to operate and make money. We feel like we are subsidizing the growth of giganto corporations. Many of them we don't understand, and many of them we don't see a lot of personal benefit to us that they exist. And you are reaching a fever pitch in terms of people being pissed off about their rate increases. I mean, again, I keep my house at 71 right now. 70 in the summer normally, when it's, 80, 85 degrees, whatever. So I'm not some person that's like, it must be 65 at all times of the day. I don't do that. But it's going to be a swift kick in the junk when I get that bill. It shouldn't be that way. I don't mind paying my fair share. I don't mind paying for the service I'm using, but it pisses me off when I don't have any competition. I can't shop around. I can't find a better service. I can't find a better rate. And the government gives away these monopolies, and then they keep allowing the monopolies to keep making more money. And don't buy into, well, it's to improve the service. Ask the AES people how the service is. I mean, we laid out to you, this has been, a month and a half ago, Capital Chronicle had an article about this, about how much more money the 5 major for-profit utilities are making in the state of Indiana. It used to be 13 cents for every dollar. Now it's 15. It's a hard sell. Hey, you should pay more when the monopoly, which exists because of the government, keeps making more money. That's going to make people angry. So Braun appointed 3 people to the board. Andy Zay, the chairman, voted with 2 other board members to allow AES to raise rates by $70+ million. Braun goes ballistic. Braun removes Zay as the chairman. Now, that's going to cost Zay what? I forget what the number was. I think it was like $13,000 or something, not being the chairman. And by the way, that's commonplace that whoever the body president is, whether it's your town council, city council, county government, whatever, the board president always makes more money because they got to run the meeting. Me, I never, ever, ever, never wanted to be in charge of everything. Never. Now, I did for the redevelopment commission for a couple of years because I was like, these suckers I'm working with, they don't understand any of this, and I got to explain it to them. And by explain it to them, I mean control the meeting. And that worked really well. I got a lot of stuff done that way. I didn't want to do it. Like from Caddyshack, Judge Smales. Didn't want to do it. Thought I owed it to him. I was like, hey, look, I'm the visionary here, and we all know this. In order to get this stuff done, I got to run the meeting. But that was it. That was like a once-a-month meeting, and normally it was in and out. But like when I was elected official, no. The money, the extra money, I wanted to sit on the very far end, which I did. Imagine this from Rob Kendall. I wanted to sit on the far end, lob all the grenades I could, and be right next to the door after the meeting. See ya. See you guys in 2 weeks. Ta-ta. I didn't want any responsibility. I didn't want to hurt any cats. I didn't want to have to coalition build. So it's not unusual that the board president or the commission president or whatever makes more money. So because Zay was removed, it's going to cost him quite a bit of money. David Valletta is a member of the IURC who has announced he is stepping down. Now, you got to give this Valletta guy credit because this is a full-time job. These rank and file board members make $152,000 a year. Good gig if you can get it. Valletta before he resigned or announced his resignation, put on LinkedIn, I'm looking for work. That's a boss move. Hey, anybody hiring? I'm about to leave my previous employer. And I mean, that's commonplace, right? I don't do a lot on LinkedIn, but it's commonplace, right? People will do that. Usually it's not a high-profile job where you're a high-ranking government official. You usually don't, broadcast on LinkedIn, hey, anyone hiring? Got some experience in raising rates on taxpayers. Anybody? Bueller? So he formally sent his letter June the 26th, according to the Capitol Chronicle. There's a big article about this. And he wrote, quote, I am writing to inform you of my decision to resign from my position on the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission effective August 31st or sooner should my replacement be ready to serve. Serving as commissioner over the past 4 years has been a genuine honor, bringing to close roughly 17 years with the commission that began as a staff member in 2009. So Valletta was one of the guys who teamed up with Zay and another commissioner to raise the rates for AES, to permit AES's rate increase. Valletta went on to say, quote, staff is the backbone. Their expertise and dedication, often without public recognition, are what allow commission to serve Hoosiers so well. Whoa. I don't think essentially rubber stamping rate increases is serving Hoosiers well. Remember, that was what the Holcomb people told me one time when they refused to answer my questions. It would not serve Hoosiers well. Working alongside such talented and genuinely good people has been one of the greatest privileges of my career. So Braun gets the letter from Valletta, and Braun puts out a, hey, if you'd like to apply, here's how you do it letter. And we'll talk about how you apply in a second, because we got a guy that knows something about this and is going to have a say in this. Quote, affordability is my top priority, Braun said on a social media post Tuesday morning. I am looking for a commissioner who understands that every decision has a real impact on Hoosier families and businesses who will keep ratepayers front and center. As utility costs continue to rise, we need strong leadership committed to protecting consumers. All right, let's talk about that for a second. Because we've had Nikki Kelly on, fabulous Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, the past couple weeks. This topic has come up. We're going to record with Nikki later today, so she'll be with us tomorrow, about how sort of disingenuous this is from Braun. Because the reality is the commission can do some stuff, kind of. I mean, like the original AES rate increase request was like $190 million. They whittled it down to 71. But there are very specific things that the commission has to consider with rate increases. Legal stuff. Specific things in statute that they have to be reviewed. They can't just say no without understanding they're probably going to get sued. If the utility, based on rules and regulations passed by the General Assembly, meet the requirements that the General Assembly has set, and the commission just says no, then they're probably going to get sued because the utilities ain't going to be like, hey, we're not getting our money. Well, that'll be fine. We'll be okay. Our stockholders will understand. Our shareholders will be fine. But hell no, they're going to sue them. Now, unless the commission wants to transform into the Rock and quote unquote just bring it, then you have to do certain things or you're going to get sued. And Braun should know that too. And not only going to get sued, you're going to lose in all likelihood. Look, if Braun were serious about no rate increases, he should just say any person who wants to be on this commission has to publicly pledge to never raise rates. And if we get sued, we get sued. See, this is the disingenuous nature of Braun, in which he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. He's not calling on the people to fix it if he doesn't want rate increases who can actually fix it, which is the General Assembly. Because, of course, Braun knows that the General Assembly are bought and sold by a lot of these companies too. The Star has laid out fabulously over the years, and I believe the Capitol Chronicle has reported on it too, how much money these power companies, the big five utilities, give to the politicians. how much money the big five power companies give to the state of Indiana. Remember the Indiana Economic Development Foundation, the travel arm of the IEDC, funded in large part by a bunch of the utilities. You think they're giving out of the goodness of their heart? Hell no. They're giving because they want something, and they usually get it. And again, when we come back to the hypocrisy of Braun, last year, Braun signed a bill that would enable utilities to recoup up to 80% of research and development on totally unproven technology SMR, small modular reactors, nuclear, which when they talk about recovering costs, it's rate increases. So on one hand, Braun signs a bill that says 80% of your R&D you can recover through rate increases, whether it works or not, whether it helps us or not as a society. But then I'm going to feign outrage over some guy voting to raise rates by $71 million when the original ask was $190 million. It's complete hypocrisy. If Braun wants to ensure that rates don't get raised, all he has to do is say any person who wants to be appointed to this board has to publicly pledge they will never vote to raise rates. They could do it right now. He could do it right now. It's another example of Braun not actually fixing a problem, which we told you when he appointed Andy Zay, it wasn't going to get fixed. You can't appoint an institutionalist to the institution and then expect the institutionalist is going to do anything to really reform the institution. We told you this from the beginning. It's another example of Braun wanting you to believe he's actually trying to fix the problem, but then not actually fixing the problem. It's very simple. You don't want rates raised? Make it a mandate. Now, the way this works, and we're recording Statehouse Happenings when we get done here today. Merritt will be with us. And Jim Merritt is on the board of people who make recommendations to the governor. So the way this works when there's an opening, the applicants, so you send in applications, there's a board. I can't remember exactly how many people are on the board. I'll ask Merritt in Statehouse Happenings. He's on the board. They then look through the applications. Based on the applications, they narrow it down to a number. They can pick whatever number they want, and then they start interviewing people. And then off of those interviews, this commission makes a recommendation of 3 people to the governor. And the governor chooses from those 3 people. Now, theoretically, the governor could say, I reject all of these nominees. Give me somebody else, and then they start the process over again. But Braun could make abundantly clear to the commission, I want a guarantee from whoever I'm going to pick that they won't raise rates. But, of course, he's not going to do that. Because the guarantee not to raise rates would immediately run afoul of the laws of the state, which it comes back to, if you actually want it fixed, if you actually want to be for the people, demand that the General Assembly change the laws that would allow the IURC to do that. Now, I'll tell you right now, you appoint Rob Kendall to the board, I'll pledge not to raise the rates. I can make that pledge right now. If you want me to apply for this position, Mr. Braun, say it publicly. I will absolutely apply and I'll pledge not to raise the rates. Bet that doesn't happen, right? And I'm sure there's numerous other people who would also raise their hand and say, hey, I will do that. You just got to ask me to run. It's not actually about not raising your rates. Just like with the IEDC, it wasn't about reforming the IEDC or cleaning it up. Just like with property taxes, it wasn't about fixing property taxes. We keep seeing this with Braun over and over and over again, in which he wants you to believe, look at how hard I'm working for you, while not actually doing the stuff necessary to fix the problems in front of him. And by the way, I'm told there's a bunch of stuff going on with the Andy Zay saga. I have heard from multiple people that there's a bunch of stuff brewing on that, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens with that. Hey, did you guys know the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil offers more than just the restaurant? Oh, it's great. By the way, Bistro's closed Friday and Saturday this week. They're doing a bunch of 4th of July festivities. They are open for Sunday brunch, but there's more than just the bistro. There's the cottage, and the cottage is amazing. It's on the water, just like the restaurant. It offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like showers, tile showers, full kitchen, living room with a fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. Oh, and Andy, the owner, who did our fabulous sign, he delivers, when you stay at the cottage, breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 in the morning. Reserve your getaway at the cottage, 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage in Brazil, 812-443-3003. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, Braun is again admitting that the government is overtaxing you, trying to take a victory lap for it, and now he's talking about how much money of overtaxation he's going to give back to local governments. Look, they get away with it everywhere but here. It doesn't work here. We'll tell you about it. How much you're being overtaxed, how you're getting screwed. When we come back, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Did you know Honeysuckle Hill in Brazil offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book today by visiting their website at honeysucklehillb.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I got tons of water over here. It's a great, I feel like, I'm probably jinxing myself, but I feel like yesterday, today, the first days where there's like no massive cough or just gallons of snot pouring out of my head. I'm not totally back. I mean, whatever crap my kid brought home did intense damage. I mean, like we're talking 2 weeks worth of damage. But I finally feel like, hey, maybe I've turned a corner a little bit. We got to talk about Braun again trying to take a victory lap on overtaxing you. But first, you guys looking to potentially buy or sell your home, buy a new home, sell your old home? If you are, don't do it alone, and make sure you do it with somebody who is invested in being on your side. A Hoosier lifer, a military vet, friend of the show, Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson would love the opportunity to sit down with you, meet you, understand your goals. I mean, that's so key, right? Not just finding a house, not just selling a house, but making sure all of your goals are met so that you're happy for years to come. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. Maybe after today, you're like, I got to get somewhere colder. Got to get the hell out of this place. Boy, howdy. It is bad. before we go forward, we got to talk about how Braun is once again bragging about overtaxing you. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, great way to help the program. Give us that thumbs up. Like the feed. If you're watching us live on YouTube, on demand on YouTube, those little thumbs up really help us grow this show. Also, reminder, no show on Friday. Jason said, I cannot work on Friday. Something in Jason's contract that allows him to not have to work the day before Independence Day. I don't know. That's also your mom's birthday, isn't it? That's right. It's a national holiday. It's Jason's mom's birthday. Couple that with it is my day to watch my kids since she's off daycare. And we said we're not coming into work on Friday. But we will be back Monday, better than ever. So just, you got to make other plans for Friday. And then I think the next off day, pending good health, is, depending on whatever crap my kid brings home from daycare, will be Labor Day. So we're going to go basically for, 2 solid months after that. So, we don't take a lot of days off around here, but we felt Jason had earned a day off for July the 3rd. Okay. So Braun is very coy right now about what he's going to do about the gas tax. The gas tax suspension, as we laid out yesterday, goes now until July the 7th. So it's closing in. He's got to make a choice. Now, he claims he has the legal authority to do it one more time. And then he would have to either call a special session or whatever, or let it expire or, whatever. And he has now said, because one of the things with the gas tax is a portion of the gas taxes, there's two, right? Sales tax on gas, gasoline excise tax. A portion of the sales tax on gas goes back to local governments. And look, I don't know if you guys know this. Local governments don't care about anything but local governments. If you're under the impression that your local government gives a damn about you at all, you're very mistaken. They only care about themselves. And they very quickly, upon the suspension of the sales tax on gas, not caring about you at all, but were like, hey, what about us? We're going to lose this money? Because Braun had said, well, INDOT, we're going to back you up with the money you're losing by the surplus. Now remember, surplus is code word for overtaxation. When the government runs a surplus, it means they've collected more money than they need. More money than to run what the budget calls for. And of course, the budget is highly bloated to begin with as well. But don't ever let a government official talk about a surplus and how that's a good thing. Any money that's collected that runs a surplus is overtaxation. And of course, Braun's being most people not understanding this and is bragging about it. And he has now come out and said, according to the Capitol Chronicle, that the state of Indiana will make payments to local governments equivalent to what they lost by the taxes on gas not being collected since May. Quote, listen to this quote. This is only possible because Hoosiers demand common sense fiscal management, and we've delivered. We are running government more efficiently, and as a result, we have the resources to offer tax relief while supporting local partners. Overtaxation, Braun. Look, I know no other place is going to look at him and say it, so I'll do it. Overtaxation. That's what you did. You took more money than you needed, which, by the way, if you guys go back to last year, remember, people like me were screaming about them, saying, don't pass that budget. Don't vote for that budget. You don't have to pass it, because remember, they were all like, we don't know what the economic forecast has in store for us. Like they were giving some doomsday speech because of the Trump tariffs. And we said at the time, okay, if you don't know, then don't pass the budget. You don't have to pass it right now. Give it a couple months. Come back with a special session. You'll have a better idea. Pass it then. And they said, well, we have to pass a budget, so we're going to raise taxes by $1 billion. So, which is what they did. They raised taxes by $1 billion to pass the budget. So when Braun is talking about the money to give back, he's talking about money that they took that they didn't need. This is not because of he's running the government more effectively. It's because the economic forecast was better than they anticipated. They overtaxed people. They sold you that it was going to be worse than it was, and they have more money. When you have hundreds of millions of dollars laying around each month that you can stop one of your taxes, that's overtaxation. That's not running the government properly. Your forecasters stink. And quite frankly, you stink. And again, guys, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. If the Iran war hadn't happened, Trump had not decided to do the Iran war, would Braun have suspended the gas tax? Of course not. That's the elephant in the room. Braun is only suspending the gas tax. You're actually really not seeing any savings because of the price of the spike in the price of gas. Yeah, okay, he suspended the tax. But really, you're basically paying what you were paying for gas before the Iran war. And nobody has asked Braun, and it's because the people on our side of the aisle just want to be friends with him. They don't want to grill him. They don't want to hold him accountable. Would you have suspended the gas tax if not for the Iran war? And the answer is hell no, he wouldn't have. He would have spent it on something. He's only doing this because it's making Trump look bad, and they're trying to help Trump to help the Republicans during the midterms. Which is why they keep doing it month to month. He's not calling a special session because they're hoping, against hope, that Trump can get some sort of formal deal done and it'll stick and gas will go down again. And then what happens? They'll still be collecting the excess revenue. You don't get a victory lap for overtaxing people and then being like, hey, local governments, I got your back. I'm going to take some of that excess tax revenue, overtaxation, and give it to you guys. I got you. No, you stole from us to begin with. If some guy takes a box of candy bars out of the convenience store and then 3 months later comes back to the convenience store and is like, hey, here's half the candy bars back. I got you. Is the convenience store owner like, oh, thanks, man. You're a gem. We need more people like you in the world. No. You're like, what the hell? You stole my candy bars and you call the cops. You used the candy bars for 3 months. You ate half the candy bars, and I'm not going to be happy that you gave me half the candy bars back, which is what Braun's doing. They wouldn't listen. They overtaxed. And now he wants credit for giving money to other government entities that he took from you to begin with. Now, I love this. The AIC, the Association of Indiana Counties, like their AIM, there's Association of Indiana Municipalities and Association of Indiana Counties. They're both equally awful. They're both equally on their side against you. Grow government, protect us, screw the taxpayer. AIM, ache. The Association of Indiana Counties, listen to this. This is from the Capitol Chronicle. Commended Braun for providing tax relief to families and businesses while also ensuring that road, bridge, and infrastructure projects can continue without interruption. So they're not actually happy that Braun helped you. They're just happy they're getting their money. Because if Braun hadn't given them their money, they would have been pissed off that Braun was helping you. Listen to this. Indiana's transportation network is one of our state's most important assets, said David Bodorf, AIC's executive director. We appreciate the Braun administration and the Board of Finance for recognizing that taxpayer relief and infrastructure investment do not have to be competing priorities. They should be, because the money Braun's using is excess money that he took to begin with. They should be competing priorities because you're getting back a fraction of what he took from you to begin with that he shouldn't have ever taken. We're not acknowledging the elephant in the room. And by the way, you guys, you AIC guys, you're only happy about this because you're getting yours. You'd be livid if we were getting ours and you weren't getting yours. Of course, you're getting yours because of the excess taxation. We're getting a fraction back of what we overpaid, but you're getting all of yours. That's how it works, right? They give you a few shekels, the government always gets made whole. They went on to say, through cooperation and thoughtful planning, Indiana can provide immediate savings to Hoosiers while preserving the funding that keeps our local roads and bridges safe and functional. It is not savings to people if the government took more from you to begin with and then gave you a fraction of that back. That is not savings. That is, you're just not paying as much as you would have, which you are, though, thanks to Trump and Iran. There's no, you guys realize that, right? There's no actual savings to you going on here. Your government has created an environment where there's no actual savings. You're paying the same for gas that you were 5 months ago, right? You realize that. I know it was 5 months ago. I know February was 5 months ago because August will be 6 months. I've had August being 6 months at the forefront of my thinking for a while now. That's how I remember things. It is not savings. There's no actual savings to you going on here. You're being lied to. You're paying the same for gas as you were before, and the government is still getting all their money. You know who's not getting any actual savings? You. Matt Geller, executive director of, oh, there they are. I knew they were in this story somewhere. It's like the triangle of terror. The state, AIM, and AIC. There it is. Matt Greller, executive director of Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, AIM. Are there more than one AIM? Oh, hell, there's too many acronym people. I thought there was an Association of Indiana Municipalities. I don't know. It's too hard to keep track of all the acronym people. But anyway, these guys don't sound like they're on your side either. The statewide organization, oh, no, this is them. Okay, I just had what it stood for wrong. This is them. The statewide organization representing cities and towns said in a recent Capitol Chronicle commentary that it was the right thing to suspend the gas taxes and provide relief to Hoosiers. I would love to follow up with, what if you didn't get yours? I can almost guarantee the AIM people, because I've known about them for years and seen them for years, they wouldn't be for anything that didn't involve them fully getting theirs. Oh, there it is. Silly me. But he said that Indiana's transportation network, quote, depends on revenue generated by the sale of gas. These funds support roads, streets, and physical infrastructure you and I use every day. You notice what they're never talking about cutting? It's never like, oh, crap, gas tax got suspended. Better not build the hockey stadium. Oh, shoot. $100 million not going into the state's coffers because of the gas tax suspension. Better not build the pool, the swimming pool, the aquatic center. They're never like, oh, shoot, money not coming in. Better not build the next pickleball court. You notice it's always like, that's never what's on the chopping block. It's always the main stuff. Again, we talk about using things as human shields. So it's always threatening you. Hey, if we don't get this, then it's going to be the worst thing that you need the most that's not going to happen. It's never all of the excess. These funds support roads and streets and physical infrastructure you and I use every day. The challenge is making sure here we go. The challenge is making sure temporary relief does not unintentionally cause the pendulum to swing that brings higher long-term costs for the same Hoosier taxpayers. Bingo. Basically saying, if we don't get ours, Braun, we're going to raise taxes on people. That's what he's saying there. I knew it. I knew those AIM guys wouldn't ever be for a tax cut that involved them losing a dime of money. I knew it. Damn. I even impress myself sometimes. I am so good. So don't let him get away with it. Don't let any of these people get away with the idea of a tax cut or savings. You're not saving anything. You're paying the same as you were paying before. You're not getting anything special. The state is making sure the local governments always keep getting what they're always getting. And what they're proving is there's a whole bunch of money being collected that wouldn't be, quote unquote, given back to you if the price of gas weren't what it was, and then spend it. And as soon as this is over, they'll go back to spending it again. It's not about you. If they want to help you, Braun will call a special session and he will say, we're making the ending of the gas tax permanent and we will help people whether gas is $4 a gallon or $3 a gallon. Because as we talked about yesterday, either the tax is justified or it's not. Either the tax is worthwhile or it's not. Either the tax goes to vital stuff or it doesn't. Don't let them get away with it. Hey, Bramwell Mackay, they've been with us from the beginning. Leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. If you got issues, Bramwell Mackay are the guys to call. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants. They are your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY.com, BramwellMackay.com, your masonry foundation and chimney specialist. All right. Got a ton of stuff left to get to here. Oh, this was wild. So we got to talk about a little bit how NPR reported on the Supreme Court yesterday, which was crazy. We got to talk about what one elected official said when he was promoting. That's probably the right word. Promoting Amy Coney Barrett to Trump. And we got to talk about Trump's financial disclosures are out. Did you guys see this? This is crazy. Look, guys, we got to have a real talk about politicians, period, and how much they're making off being politicians. Trump financial disclosure is out. And I've heard for a while, like, Trump is the only guy to ever lose money being president. He ain't losing no money. I don't know where that came from. This disclosure is wild. We got to have a broader conversation about politicians be able to make money being in office. We'll get to all that and more when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Is the inside of your house a total mess, like a complete dumpster fire? Call AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. When you walk into your house after using AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning, you will see and smell the difference. They take great pride in their workers and treat your home like their own. All cleaners pass through a background check and drug screening. Call today and mention you heard about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning on the Rob Kendall Show, and you will get an incredible $50 off your first clean. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning serves all of Central Indiana. Book your appointment today by calling 317-530-8148. 317-530-8148.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
It's the Rob Kendall Show. That was break 3, right? I'll just ask you on air. I don't care. That was break 3, right? Yeah, it's like some secret. No. I want to make sure I said the right script here. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. A little bit. We got to talk about what local politician was all on board with Amy Coney Barrett and what the NPR did yesterday covering the Supreme Court. We got to talk about that. But first, Well, I want to talk about Trump's financial disclosure because it's wild. Like, we got to have a real, and I'm not just saying Trump here. Like, I'm saying these politicians, period, about how much money they're making being in the Congress. But first, before we do that, it is Wednesday. That means Double D's. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. Double D's barbecue in Clayton. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. And because the Duncans who own it, Tina, Dennis, her husband, their son Garrett, they're from Memphis, they take it all very serious, guys. It is wing day. Wednesday is wing day. We got Thursday is loaded baked potato day. I know several of you have been out there for that loaded baked potato, and you're like, oh, my gosh, this thing's incredible. Everything there is awesome, guys. All their stuff's made from scratch. Sauce is made from hand. It is all made the day of, so you know it's made fresh. If you're looking for something different, if you're looking for a different dining experience, check out our friends at Double D's Southern Barbecue in Clayton. You can find out the ribs, brisket, and more. The menu, ddbbq317.com, ddbbq317.com. Again, open Wednesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. Located right at the corner of 39 and 40 there in Clayton. All right. So, this was crazy. I really enjoy reading financial disclosures from politicians. I think it tells you a lot about who they are and kind of what they're doing. And CNBC, you know, all these politicians are required to do financial disclosures. And CNBC had a report on Trump's financial disclosures, which came out. They are out now. And look, guys, I don't care whether you are the biggest Trump fan or you hate Trump or whatever. Facts are facts, right? And I was reading this stuff because, I always heard, oh, well, Trump has lost so much money being president. And I'm reading this going, I don't know where that came from. He's not losing anything being president. He's making a crap ton of money being president. So I want to frame this in terms of the broader conversation, not against Trump. This is not an anti-Trump thing. I'm going to give you the stats about his own. These were his disclosures. But I want to ask you, as you're thinking through this, because it's a much broader conversation. It's a conversation about, should people in public service with control over our country be able to utilize that position to make money? Whether it's a Republican, whether it's a Democrat, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden. I mean, when we talk about these financial disclosures, I want you to just keep an open mind and say, if I remove the name Trump and put Biden next to it, because Biden did it, Obama's done it, they're all doing it. And the Congress people are even worse, right? Because they're using their position to do essentially insider trading, where, if you or I did it, we'd go to prison. That's how all these people go in, regular people come out millionaires. But I mean, the whole system is broken. I don't care what your party affiliation is. I don't care who your favorite president is. When I read this to you about what's going on, and if you scratched out the name Trump and put Biden, how would you respond to it? And we should respond the same way because it's a broader conversation. It's a conversation about, should our politicians be able to use the office that they're in, the power of the presidency in this case, or the power of the House, or the power of the Senate, or whatever, to be able to make money? I think the answer is no. I think we get much better governance if they weren't able to. It's part of why, of all people, the guy who's been most vocal about this, or one of the most vocal people, and I hate giving him any credit for anything, has been Todd Young. Todd Young has been arguably the most vocal member of Congress against insider trading. Now, they don't call it insider trading in Congress because they write the rules and allow themselves to do it. He's been trying to undo that. And part of what Todd Young has proposed, the bill that he's proposed supported, would also cut off the president's ability to do a lot of this stuff. We've got to hold everyone accountable equally. It doesn't make you anti-Trump to say, hey, I don't think the president should be able to use the presidency to make money. So, according to CNBC, Trump's financial disclosure, it was released on Tuesday, yesterday, by the U.S. Office of Government Ethics. And it revealed income of hundreds of millions of dollars from the proceeds of crypto tokens and holdings of hundreds of individual company stocks. Now, let me be abundantly clear with this. I have zero problem. If you go into Congress, a rich guy, I'm not extreme enough to say you have to sell all your stocks. I think you're just cut off. If you go in the presidency, a rich guy, I don't have a problem with that. Make money. Great. I love that you've made money. And I don't think you should be forced to sell your portfolio because you're president. But I think you're cut off. You own it going in, you'll own it coming out. Hope you invested wisely. You know you're running for president. If you don't want to abide by those rules, sell the stocks before you become president. Sell them off. If you don't want to abide by those rules, same thing for Congress. You go in you come out with what you went in with. If you invested well, if Walmart did well the 4 or 8 or 16 years you were there, then you're going to be okay. If not, you're in trouble. No buying or selling while you're in the government, period. You know what it would do? One, it would cut off a lot of these grifters who are running for Congress to get in there to get rich. It would cut them off. They wouldn't do it because they couldn't make money. And two, you would get much better governance because let's face it, a lot of these decisions these people make are based on how it'll help them. We all know that's true. It's true for both parties. So I got a major issue with the Trump crypto stuff. Here's the facts on it according to CNBC. The report reveals that Trump's crypto-related income included about $515 million from the sales of tokens released by the firm World Liberty Financial and $65 million from sales of equity in WLF's holding company. Guys, that's $580 million. Essentially in crypto. WLF is the Trump-linked crypto company co-founded by members of his family that issues the WLFI governance token and USD1 stablecoin. Okay, this is a massive deal because Trump, in his position as president, has promoted the crypto industry. He's been the most crypto-friendly president on record so far. And if you guys remember, early on in the Trump presidency, crypto skyrocketed. Now, I haven't checked it today. I don't know if you guys have been following Bitcoin. It ain't good. The Bitcoin's had some problems lately. Can you look up what Bitcoin is today? Remember, Bitcoin was like way over $100,000 at one point, early on in the second Trump presidency. Remember, it skyrocketed. Remember, at one point, it was like, this was when Mock and I were still together on air. It got up to like 60 grand. I was like, this is insane. 59.5. So it's like half. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the point. It's like half of what it was at the height of the Trump presidency, second term. Because Trump made a bunch of promises on crypto or sold a bunch of stuff on crypto. It skyrocketed. And it looks like Trump's cashed in pretty good. Now, again, guys, this is not anti-Trump. It's anti the whole system. Because you guys know if Biden were doing this, you'd be outraged. And you should be. $580 million off crypto, where he controls the dialogue on crypto and has as president. Now, you notice he's backed off the dialogue because it appears he's made a bunch of money off of it. I mean, how do we think that's okay? There's a business set up and started while he's either in the early days of his before his presidency or while he's president, and he's cashing in on it. Come on. I don't care whether you're Congress, senator, House member, whatever. We don't want that from our elected officials. Trump, according to CNBC, Trump, who first made his name in business with real estate developments in New York, also disclosed that he received $635 million in royalties from what were described as celebration coins. Again, by the way, who are the people that are buying these? Who are the buyers? It was not immediately clear what those coins are. The Bloomberg News Service reported that the royalties were related to CIC Digital LLC, Trump's meme coin business. Remember when the meme thing was big? The meme coin thing was big. I and the whole thing to me was always squirrely. It's like it doesn't exist. How can it be worth something? Now, clearly, there are still people who firmly believe in the crypto. Now, apparently, they don't believe in it the way they once did because it's way off. Remember, guys, crypto, because I said this when Mock and I were together, I said when it was at 60, I was like, this is insane. How can something that doesn't physically exist have that sort of value? And then it tanked, and remember, it was down under 15, and then it's look, if you got in at 15 and it's 59, you're still doing all right. You're not doing as good as you were when it was over 100, but you're doing all right. Okay, so you've got Trump between the two of these. I mean, you've got basically $600 million from crypto. You got $600 million from these celebration coins. Guys, we're talking $1.2 billion. The president of the United States has made $1.2 billion. Or has generated $1.2 billion in revenue, according to CNBC. On just this crypto digital coin stuff, which he controls the dialogue on. Let's face it, the thing went way up when Trump got elected. Because remember, Biden and the Democrats didn't want anything to do with it. They were big opponents of crypto. And then as soon as Trump got in there, crypto, and it all skyrocketed. And now it's come back down to earth because it seems pretty clear they're not going to get what the crypto people thought. Again, because some people get mad when I say anything critical of Trump. There is no indication whatsoever he's broken any laws. I'm not saying that. He's totally abiding by the rules that are set up, which is why the rules need change for all of these people. But if we were having the same conversation about a Joe Biden meme coin, we'd be saying, oh, it's the Biden crime syndicate. Oh, Biden and his loser family are enriching themselves off the American people. Trump's doing it too. Clearly, he would not be selling these things, certainly in the way he is, if he weren't president of the United States. He's using the presidency and specific public policy that he is inflating markets based off the things he says to enrich himself. One of the largest bursts of stock buying by Trump, detailed in the disclosure, occurred on August 18th of 2025. The documents showed 3 successive purchases of some of the biggest names in technology: Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA. Now remember the swearing in? Who was behind him? Bezos, Zuckerberg, and people were like, "What the hell, man? These guys were the biggest horrible people to you. These people hated you. They tried to destroy you. They kicked you off the platforms. And now you're going to put them right behind you at your swearing in? What an insult to the people that were actually for you." Well, each Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, with each trade value between $5 million and $25 million. Now, that is normal. There's nothing off of, people say that. It is normal. He's not doing anything untoward with the reporting of that broad, which is weird. Remember Braun in Congress? His net worth was between like 30 million and 90 million. I don't know, pretty big difference. 30 million super rich, 90 million is like stupid rich, right? But that's normal. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the actual trades, the actual actions are a red flag. The NVIDIA purchase came exactly 1 week, according to CNBC, after Trump announced that NVIDIA and AMD had agreed to give the U.S. government 15% of their H2O chip sales to China in exchange for export approval. Guys, Trump controls what things come in and out of the country, like every other president does. That's the job of the administration. That's pretty wild that Trump bought stock in these guys right after he essentially gave them approval to get their stuff out of the country. And the U.S. gets a 15% stake in the chip sales. They get 15% of them. Then we're going to China. Apple also announced an additional $100 billion in U.S. investment on August 6th, bringing its total U.S. planned commitment to $600 billion. I mean, are you sensing a trend here? Trump is repeatedly investing in companies that his government, that the government that he controls, has some level of leverage over how they're able to operate in the United States and is getting concessions on how they operate in the United States. The filing also showed that Trump purchased Amazon stock worth between $500,000 and $1 million on September 23rd. That was the same day a trial began, according to CNBC, in Seattle federal court for a lawsuit by the Federal Trade Commission, which alleged Amazon duped customers into paying for Prime memberships. The trial ended. How did I not get in on this? I'd love to just cut off Amazon Prime. I'd save so much money if they couldn't deliver stuff to my house. That's what my wife says. She says I'm saving money with Prime. It seems like I see the price tags on things. It seems like I just keep spending money on Amazon Prime. Anyway, this was the same day a trial began in Seattle federal court for a lawsuit with the FTC, which alleged Amazon duped customers into paying for Prime memberships. That's me. I was duped. By duped, someone else did it, and I never knew about it. That's duping, right? I pay. Someone else did it without my consent. As I told this joke at the live show on Saturday night, I said I will often see things on the credit card. As Jason will tell you, I am very thrifty, and I am very astute to every dollar that gets spent involving my existence. And oftentimes I will call Jason and go, "What was that?" And then he'll tell me what that was, and I'll say, oh, okay, yeah, right. But with my wife, I will often go to her and go, "Honey, did you spend blah, blah, blah on the blah, blah, blah?" And she will look at me and she will go, "Yes, I did." And I will say, "What was that for?" And she will tell me. And it's oftentimes something no person would ever actually need. And then I will look at her and she will look back at me and go, "Is there a problem?" And as any Mr. Unemployed, as any married person knows, when your wife asks you if there is a problem, you will say, "Why, no, absolutely not. Of course there's no problem." But anyway, the trial ended 2 days later after Amazon agreed to settle the suit by paying $1 billion civil penalty to the FTC and refunds totaling $1.5 billion to an estimated 35 million customers. So again, you have the government engaged in some sort of dealings in and around the time with the government in dealings with companies in and around the time Trump is buying their stock. Some other interesting tidbits for Trump. Royalties. How much he makes off royalties. And again, it's very clear, many of these, he's making money because he's the president. Like, they're getting his royalties because he's the president. And I'm not saying he did anything illegal. I'm not. He's playing in the rules given him. My point is, these rules stink. You should not be able to make this amount of money being the president. Anybody. Royalty income includes $4.7 million received through a licensing agreement for Trump watches with the Best Watches on Earth LLC. That's the company. A deal related to the publication of, quote, the Greenwood Bible. A collaboration with God Bless the USA singer Lee Greenwood, netting him $208,486. I mean, he sends Greenwood to all these events that he does. Now he's in business with him. A licensing deal for Trump sneakers and fragrances for $67,634. An endorsement of 45 guitar. Jason, would you ever get on stage with the 45 guitar? Well, apparently whatever it was got him $35,920. Jason says he's never heard of the 45 guitar. Publishing agreements for, quote, Letters to Trump, Save America, and MAGA Journey for $590,730, $1.893 million, and $552,000 respectively. Guys, this is a massive amount of money. And last, and this bothered me like with Obama and Biden. The family members are also cashing in. And this pisses me off. The disclosure also includes asset and income information for First Lady Melania Trump, including $10.7 million in net proceeds through a license agreement related to her self-titled documentary, Melania. $10.7 million. If her name is Melania Smith, is anybody going to the Melania Smith documentary? A separate licensing agreement with the film's publisher, Skyhorse, netted her an additional $521,161 in income. Again, guys, he's following the law. I'm not demanding an investigation. I'm not feigning outrage, but I have had the same outrage for Biden. I've had the same outrage for Obama. You should not be able to use your position as a high-ranking government official. In this case, he is the highest-ranking government official. But it is true for the senators. It is true for the congressmen. You should not be able to make money off being the president. The same way our governor shouldn't be able to utilize $4 billion of state and federal resources to build a road in Southwest Indiana that benefit his business. It's across the board, these people in positions of authority who use their position of authority to better their own financial position. It's gross, and we shouldn't tolerate it no matter who does it. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, got to read you about one local elected official who was all in on Amy Coney Barrett. People should ask him today if he still feels the same way. Plus, how the NPR reported about the Supreme Court yesterday and then immediately had to retract all of it. It was hilarious, but it's a great insight into who these people actually are. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Hour 3 on the way. It's a Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
I think, right? Yeah, one break left to go today. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hour 3 is just about upon us. I'm all screwed up because we didn't have a guest today. Normally I have a guest, and that's my fault. I hogged all the limelight for myself. But, man, we got to talk about, get into what one politician said yesterday about the Supreme Court, and then we got to talk about how the revisionist history of not acknowledging they were all in on Barrett, who was the deciding vote on the birthright citizenship thing. So yesterday, Jim Banks tweeted out, senator from Indiana, a nation without borders, after the ruling came down, a nation without borders is not a nation. The 14th Amendment was written to ensure equal citizenship between Americans, not to provide loopholes for illegals and birth tourists. Congress must act, and then American flags pass the Save America Act, protect our borders, eliminate the H-1B scam, eliminate OPT. So that was Jim Banks yesterday. Obviously very upset. He then goes on to say, it's time for a constitutional amendment. No birthright citizenship for anyone whose parents have not pledged total allegiance to the United States, starting with illegal aliens. And then he writes later, a string of tweets as these politicians do. It's about saving our country. We need to do whatever it takes to restrict birthright citizenship and defend our sovereignty. And that's all fine. I don't have any problem with that. The only problem is, and this, by the way, there's a Fox News article if you'd like to read it that references this, and in case Rob, he's just making it up, right, or whatever. Going back to September 23, 2020, remember this was at a time when Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away, and Trump was going to have another appointment. They were going to try to rush that through, and the big question was, well, who? Who's it going to be? So remember, it's not this is not who it is. This was who it's going to be. You could have any justice in all the land appointed to take the place of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Not this is who we picked, pass it. This is, you could have any person you want it to be. And I have in my possession, and again, Fox News has an article about this from the time if you'd like to read it as well. You don't take my word for it. From Jim Banks, who lists himself as a member of Congress, Andy Biggs, who lists himself as a member of Congress, and it is addressed to the President of the United States, dated September 23rd, 2020. And they write in part, we write to you today to encourage you to nominate Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court of the United States. After working as a Notre Dame professor for 15 years, Ms. Barrett was nominated and confirmed to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals with bipartisan support in the U.S. Senate. In the vetting process for the judgeship, both Judge Barrett's colleagues and students at Notre Dame expressed great confidence in her abilities to carry out her duties on one of our nation's highest courts. The internet being forever is great. We are confident that Judge Barrett, if nominated and confirmed to the Supreme Court, will respect and defend the original text of the U.S. Constitution. Again, Jim Banks in a letter to the president on September 23rd. Let me read that again. I know I was laughing hysterically. Boy, he missed her almost as bad as he did Diego, didn't he? Holy smokes. We are confident that Judge Barrett, if nominated and confirmed to the Supreme Court, will respect and defend the original text of the U.S. Constitution as intended by America's founding fathers. Her presence and critical vote on our nation's highest court will help restore the balance of separation of powers between the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Thank you for your consideration of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the U.S. Supreme Court of the United States. We eagerly anticipate your selection this weekend. Man, Banks sure know how to pick them, don't he? Barrett, Diego, and then, of course, he runs out, and laments the decision, right? And look, people pick bad people all the time. I said everybody should vote for Braun because I thought Micah would hold Braun accountable. I was wrong. You know what I did after that? I was like, I'm done telling people how to do anything, right? I gave it one shot. It didn't go well. Y'all on your own going forward. But it shows you the horrible judgment a guy like Jim Banks has. He was all in on Diego until Diego was going to lose. He was all in on Barrett until Barrett did what most of us who had actually paid attention to Barrett's legal rulings and the things she said in the past, and we knew, hey, she's going to be good on life. She's definitely going to, and she was. But all the other stuff, I don't know. Y'all might not like what you're in store for with that. When these politicians tell you to do something, don't do it. They don't know their head from their ass. Everything they're doing is political. They don't have any idea. And look, there were a lot more people than Jim Banks that signed on to Amy Coney Barrett. You can go read the article. Fox News has it posted. You just Google Jim Banks, Amy Coney Barrett, whatever. I'm sure it'll pop up. September 2020 if you need a timestamp on it. But I mean, it's just laughable that these people act like they're smarter than us. They act like they know more about everything than us. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. I think, because Banksy likes to read stuff from the Senate floor, I think he should have to read his letter to Trump about Amy Coney Barrett. I think he should have to read that aloud on the Senate floor and then say, I'm sorry. Sorry. All right, we'll get to what the NPR did on the Supreme Court yesterday. But first, Lauren Wilson, realtor with Ad Properties. Hoosier lifer, military vet. She'd love the opportunity to get to meet and welcome you and your family. Lauren Wilson, as we said, she's local. She knows the area. And her biggest goal is to make sure you are pleased for years to come. That involves strategy. That involves getting a plan in place. It's not just about selling your house and buying a new one. It's about getting the maximum amount of dollars the house you're in and getting the most out of the place you're going to. Place you'll be happy for years to come. Lauren Wilson, realtor with Ad Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. We have one more break to go, right? Before we do the YouTube chat. I want to make sure. All right, we have made it. It's hour 3. Hour 3, the third hour of the Rob Kendall Show, brought to you by our great friend John Rust. Thank you to John for allowing us to get to more topics each day and the extended YouTube chat comments, which allow you to become the star. Thank you to John Rust. All right, so this yesterday should show you just how the media operates. The Supreme Court's final day was yesterday. They do as they always do. They usually save the big rulings, which was the birthright citizenship. By the way, one thing that did come out yesterday, because everybody's talking about birthright citizenship, there was a common sense ruling, which you never know with this court. You never know, that basically said states can stop men from playing in women's sports. And that was a very good thing and a very common sense thing. And it was a 6-3 ruling that said states like Indiana and others, this was an Idaho case that was in front of them, and I believe West Virginia was in on it as well. But Indiana has a law it's in the place, and it'll be upheld now by the Supreme Court. It'll be covered under that, which basically said men are not allowed to play women's sports if the state says no, which every state should, right? Men are not women. Women are not men. There are differences. There are massive biological differences. I don't care what you're injecting into your body. If you have a penis, you're a guy. You can't play women's sports. That's what the Supreme Court said yesterday. Good on them. That was the other big ruling that came down. It's not getting much attention because of the birthright citizenship thing. But yesterday, this is according to the New York Post, many other outlets have covered it. The NPR, now that's National Public Radio, NPR. You guys may recall NPR essentially had all of its national funding stripped from it last year, which is a good thing. And then the state of Indiana followed suit and removed all state funding for local public broadcasting as well. And look, I have a lot of friends who work in public broadcasting. I have over the years. They're fine people. The government has no business funding broadcasting, right? Like if the public wants what NPR has to offer, they'll pay for it. I mean, what do? We come in here every day. You like what we do? Here's how you give us money. RobKendallShow.com. That's how you do it. There's a support button. You like what we do? Here's how it works. We go to advertisers. We say, hey, advertiser, you like what we do? Yes. You want access to our audience? Yes. Okay, here's what it costs to advertise here. Here's what it costs me to keep Jason fed and housed each month. And people give of their own money freely. And if NPR, which they do some fine work, if people like that, they'll pay for it. If they don't, sorry about you. Welcome to media. It sucks these days. I know. NPR published a report that Samuel Alito was retiring from the U.S. Supreme Court. And then immediately took it down. And everybody freaked out. Everybody was like, what the hell is going on? Because it went up. It was a big article. It was a big old article. And then immediately it went down. And people are like, what is going on? Is he retiring? Is he calling it quits? This would be a seismic shift on the court, given the fact that, one, it would set up a Supreme Court fight for the fall. And there is pressure from Republicans to get not only Alito, but also Clarence Thomas to resign because of their age. Alito is 76. Thomas is 77. And the pressure from the Republicans has been, well, we don't want a Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing where you guys hang on too long and then a Democrat's president and you guys pass away or become too ill to serve. And then, just like Trump, getting Amy Coney Barrett, who was wholeheartedly endorsed by Jim Banks. We can blame Banks for yesterday. It's Banks' fault. If he hadn't sent that stupid letter. Just like Banks endorsing Diego. Hell of a team sound judgment over there. Anyway, then the concern is, well, they'll get the pick. And I understand that on some level, but it would be like saying, well, I don't want Michael Jordan in 1999 on my team because he's getting old and he's only got a few years left in the league. Or let's use the actual example. It'd have been in 1997, you had said, in the middle of the second Bulls dynasty, Jordan's getting long in years. He may only have a few years left. We don't want him on the team anymore. Let's trade him in for a standout rookie. What the hell? He's the best player in the league. And he won 2 more championships. You wouldn't do that. You can't get rid of your 2 best guys. I mean, look, there's an argument, I'd hear it, that Gorsuch is a better justice than Thomas, and it depends on sort of what your worldview is. But, I mean, there's 3 that stand out clearly above the rest. It's Alito, it's Thomas, it's Gorsuch. You can't trade in your best guy. Even if Alito has, let's just say, 5 years left, unless he has some sort of unknown health condition. 5 years of Alito is going to be better than 5 years of whatever 50-year-old turd Trump nominates. Let's face it. Trump's nominated 3 justices. Gorsuch was a home run. He was great. Everybody knew it when he nominated him. Kavanaugh, he's been okay on some things. He did vote against the birthright citizenship thing, but it wasn't the actual constitutional side of it. It was, he said it ran afoul of a federal law, and you can work around that. He's been all right. Barrett, more turd than gold, right? So Trump's not exactly hitting 1,000, and there's a long history of this, of Republicans nominating Supreme Court justices. John Roberts, hello! And it's not working out. Bush had 2 nominees. One was Alito, who's the best guy on the court, and then there's Roberts. So there's no guarantee whoever you pick is going to be good. If you got 5 more years with Thomas and Alito, give me that all day. I love Alito. He don't like anybody. He's perfect for me. At least Thomas, he runs around the Capitol smiling and laughing at everybody. He's like, I know you all hate me. This is hilarious. But he's fun and friendly to people. Alito, you don't see or hear from him. He's like, y'all suck. I hate everybody. I'm going camping. I like it. I love it. Anyway, so NPR posts this thing that says Alito's resigned, and everybody freaks out, or he's stepping down. And then it gets pulled. And then the spokesperson for the Supreme Court, her name is Patricia McCabe, has to come out and say, quote, NPR's reporting regarding Justice Alito is inaccurate. And they're reporting that there was any kind of court statement is inaccurate. So what that tells you is NPR, which is supposed to be running out of money, right? Oh, God, the government pulled our money. We're going under because, heaven forbid people just give you money if they want to actually support you and you go earn it the old-fashioned way like we have to do here. They wasted who knows how much time and effort and energy preparing a story that Alito's quitting. I mean, it was a big story. It was ready to go. NPR editor-in-chief Tommy Evans, according to the New York Post, said that the inaccurate report was, quote, was published, quote, due to a misunderstanding. Well, what do you mean a misunderstanding? Either he's quitting or he's not. And the Supreme Court's like, he ain't quitting. He didn't say he was quitting. He didn't tell nobody he was quitting. Quote, as soon as the error was realized, the story was retracted and removed from NPR's website, and an on-air correction was broadcast. Evans added, noting that the story's author, Nina Totenberg, quote, reached out to Justice Alito to apologize. Okay. I don't know a lot about technology, but I do know this. That means, number one, they not only wrote the story, but they had it in some sort of queue ready to go. I'm guessing they had that thing unpublished or private or however their thing's set up, and somebody accidentally hit the go button. Guys, that means NPR had a full story ready to go and ready to be published, because in order for it to be published, it's got to be uploaded, it's got to be written, it's got to be uploaded, it's got to be sitting there. I mean, you don't accidentally, publish a story like that unless it's there ready to go. Somebody hit the wrong button. And that tells you what the media's doing, how they're spending their time. NPR, which we're told is running out of money, they're going broke. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why people aren't giving you money. Because you're presenting this bull crap that the Supreme Court then has to come out and go, oh, that is not accurate. Now, look, maybe Alito will get too much pressure and quit sometime in the fall. Who knows? But this is such a bad look, and it shows exactly why the public was demanding that the government stop giving you people money. You spent all that time and all that effort writing a story in the hopes it would be right. Yeah. They do this all the time with people that are 100 years old and about to kick the bucket. They have it in the queue, right? Like, I love Mel Brooks. He's great. He just turned 100. Congratulations. You're awesome. I guarantee you, every major media outlet has a Mel Brooks obituary story ready to go. And they've had it ready to go for years. And Dick Van Dyke and all the rest of these people. Okay, right? You can put that on the, have it ready to go. You can write it and leave it ready to go. Because, well, they're 100 years old. And the story ain't going to change much between now and whenever the inevitable happens, which I hope those guys live many, many more years, right? I hope they exceed all everybody's expectations. Mel Brooks is great. But it shows you what NPR is spending its time on, and they had this ready to go, and there's so little oversight that they had it ready to publish, and some guy hit the wrong button, is what it sounds like. That is your public broadcasting. And that is when the public demanded they not pay for public broadcasting anymore by force. But if you like what public broadcasting does, by all means, give to them. There's many fine people that work there that have done good work over the years. If you like it, by all means, give it to them. Looks like their radio ratings here in Indianapolis are doing very well for a public broadcast station. Masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye, not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry standing and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly put in repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY.com. Beauty built to endure. All right. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, amongst other things, Jason will have the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention The Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance. so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is the Rob Kendall Show. Hour 3 brought to you by John Rust. Here in just a little bit, Jason will join us with the best YouTube chats of the day. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. But before we do that, a couple of reminders. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, help us out. Give us that thumbs up button. Whether you're watching us live, on demand, wherever you're watching from, like the feed. If you're listening to us on Apple, on iHeart, wherever you're at, give us that 5-star review. That really helps us out as well. Don't forget, support button up at robkendallshow.com. Tomorrow will be our final show of the week. We're taking Friday off, so we hope everybody has a great, awesome, safe, happy, and somewhat cool 4th of July weekend. And then we'll obviously be back ready to go as we always are on Monday. So just a reminder, no show on Friday. Statehouse Happenings will be dropping tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. And we're going to have a fascinating conversation because Jim Merritt and I do Statehouse Happenings. Abdul does it with us. He's off this week. But Merritt is on this board that will decide the list of 3 nominees to give to Braun for the IURC. So we're going to talk about sort of how that works. We're talking about how the board decides, works through the application process. And we'll really give you a behind-the-scenes view of how the next board member may be picked, what they want to know, because that person's going to have huge impact on not only your utilities, but utility users across the state of Indiana. So Statehouse Happenings, think of it like, 30-minute addition to the Rob Kendall Show each week that we bring you. It'll drop tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Okay. Before we bring Jason in for the best YouTube comments of the day, I want to just touch on the birthright citizenship stuff again, because it's a massive ruling. And I don't know how you have an identity as a country without clear rules or clear standards who gets to be part of the country. I mean, I go all the way back to when Trump was running for president in 2015. And it was the first presidential debate with all the Republicans were on the stage with him, Bush and Rubio and Cruz. And they were asking Trump about the border and about his plan to build the wall. And he said, look, either you have a country or you don't. And countries that are countries have borders. And I heard that time, I said, that's really brilliant, right? Either you have a country or you don't. And countries have borders. But countries also have standards to be a part of the country. Just like any club has a standard to be a part of the country. You want to join somewhere? We all know the clubs that have very high standards. I'm just talking about the money to be in, but the vetting process. Why do they do that? Because they want certain types of people. They want to ensure the people that are in the club are going to behave and operate in a certain way. And then there's other clubs that have lower standards, and they advertise that. They're like, hey, if you can't get into that club, we're a little cheaper. We're a little more free with the rules. And people go accordingly. Same thing should be true with our country. There should be standards to be a U.S. citizen. And simply being born by illegal citizens into the United States shouldn't qualify you. Alito laid it out very clearly in his dissent. Fox News read it, and we played it for you earlier. If you missed any part of the show, go back and listen to the opening 30, 40 minutes of the show today. That under the ruling yesterday, some person could be born in the United States to citizens of an adversarial nation. That person could then leave the United States, return to the country of origin where his parents came from. Now, again, you have to be born in the United States. Not enough to be conceived in the United, or to be conceived in the United States. You have to be born here under the ruling. That person can be born in the United States, become a U.S. citizen, return to his country or her country of origin, live an entire life over there, childhood into adulthood, and then have every right to return to the United States, coming from a country that wants to do harm in the United States. Why would we possibly want that? Why would we possibly say it's okay? On what planet does that make any sense whatsoever? And so we are now a country without meaning in the sense of what it means to be an American. What is an American? Now any person can come to this country, they have a child, that person is us. Whether the parents did things the right way or not, whether the parents have the best interest of our country or not. And again, somehow warping your way of thought as a judge to say that an amendment to the Constitution, which was clearly put in place to ensure that slaves who were born here, who they served here, they are Americans, ensuring that those people who live here and their descendants were given all available rights to Americans at the time, to use that, to weaponize that, and to come into some sort of warped mental thinking that somehow means the people who came to this country illegally and had a child, that child gets to be a citizen. I don't know how you square that. And again, when we talk about, the people that are textual, originalists as judges, which is what conservatives talk a lot about, and they should strive for it, they should. Original intent is a big part of that. Understanding the text, you have to understand the intent of the people who wrote it. And the people who wrote that amendment at the time, there's not even a discussion what it was about. It's not even open to interpretation what it was about or what it represented. And the idea that you would take that and bastardize it to say people can illegally enter the country and do whatever they want. We don't have meaning to be an American now. If anybody can do it any way they want to do it without any allegiance to this country whatsoever and be breaking the law in the process, then America loses its meaning. How do you look at the people who wait 7, 8, 9 years to become a U.S. citizen, doing everything the right way, and say, sorry about you? For these people, I guess they get a free pass. I guess your parents just didn't break the law fast enough or break the law enough. One of the things as a parent that I strive to do, and it's hard, right, when you got a 3-year-old because they like to press to boundaries. And they like to get their way. And, I don't know, we talked about this before, conscientiously or not, my 3-year-old recognizes I can't lock her in a cage. There's a limit to which she can be punished. And so on every action, and you can see the wheels turning in real time at that age, when she gets told no. What is the max punishment I can endure, and is it worth doing the thing that I want to do? But one of the things and so often when you're a kid, and all kids do this, right? Libby's very well behaved for the most part, but they, you struggle with, because it's easy when your kid goes ballistic, you're like, just give them whatever they want so they'll stop. But you can't do that. There have to be boundaries. There have to be rules. There have to be punishments, and there have to be guidelines, right? My kid goes to bed in the same time frame every night. When it's the summer, she don't want to do that because sometimes there's still remnants of the sun being out. But she had to understand, you go to bed when we say you go to bed. It's not dependent upon when the sun is up. And you have to have rules because then things have meaning. when she gets success, when she gets to do things, there's reward for good behavior. What we did yesterday as a country is we rewarded bad behavior. We took people who have broken our laws and said, that's fine, your people get to stay here. And then when the kid gets to stay here, so do the parents. Get in here, hide it out, have a kid, you stay forever. That's how it works. Because we don't deport. We don't deport parents of U.S. citizens. We don't do that. So we're rewarding bad behavior, and we're going to continue to reward bad behavior. And we all know the Republicans aren't going to do anything about it. They'll huff and they'll puff, but they'll never take the actual actions necessary to correct this. And so you're stuck with it. And guys, look, at least Trump, he's trying on immigration. He's trying on the border. He's trying to do things. Can you imagine what it's going to look like if a Democrat president gets in there? When they, like Biden, where they not only open up the border, but they're telling you, remember Biden telling little kids what to say to their parents when they get to the border to ensure that they can stay? Well, here's what you say on the phone, so we can't get rid of you. I mean, you got about 2 years left, and then if you get a Democrat president, kiss it goodbye. It's not good. Yesterday was a bad day. All right, speaking of good days, though, okay, what makes everybody's day better? Here's producer Jason.
Hello. How we doing?
And he brings us the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing.
Always the best. You were well. Let's get to the Black Sheep Plumbing. John McKinney, he's also in the chat today.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, John's in there. Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military firefighters and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Give them a call or a text, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558, Black Sheep Plumbing. There we go.
There you go.
All right, fantastic. Also, you made the analogy earlier about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Used Michael Jordan as that. Peyton Manning might have been a better the fact that they got rid of Peyton before his prime. Now, of course, nobody knew if he could play, but inside sources should have known that.
Well, yeah, because he went to the Broncos. He wins the Super Bowl. He goes to 2 Super Bowls. He wins an MVP.
Right.
He set the passing record, didn't
It was
he?
kind of neat when Luck beat him the first year in the playoffs, though. I believe the Colts beat the Broncos in the first year. Thought Peyton was done, but obviously we didn't get a Super Bowl out of that.
Yeah.
So
And Luck was fine. He was just kind of...
Yeah, no, Luck was great. He was just not built to be the guy he thought he was.
Yeah, he didn't want the smoke.
You'd run into a brick wall so many times, and you no longer want to run into brick walls. But no, he was an over competitor.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing to say bad about Andrew Luck. Cheryl Curry, by the way, was the one that pointed that out, and her quote was, "That's how the Colts screwed over Manning and created their current quarterback lack of leadership."
Good point.
Debacle. They put their faith in what's his face, but. The name escapes me. The quarterback now.
Daniel
Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Right. Okay.
I almost said Daniel Elliott. It's like he's
another one of those years. Hey, we got another 7-8 games starting off great, and then somebody's going to get hurt.
Look, that guy stinks.
Daniel Jones.
I mean, I watched him. The Bears played the Giants multiple times when he was quarterback of the Giants. He stinks.
Yeah. Well,
I think the league figured him out before he got hurt.
I think that was going
Remember
on.
the Pittsburgh game where they're just like, we just blitzed the guy.
We still got Richardson as a backup, though. So
look, I know people are down on Richardson. If the guy could just stay healthy,
I think if he went to another team, he'd probably do well. That's the way it happens.
I know a lot of people don't like
Colts
Richardson,
players.
And he's kind of a squirrel, but. Look,
he's got a little bit of Jameis Winston in him.
Yeah, he does.
But good talent, little wacky, but
hey, look, if I'm
a little goofy.
Look, if I'm going to go 8-9, let's have some fun with it.
There we go.
Every Jameis Winston game is the most entertaining game you'll watch all year.
Yeah,
the guy's amazing.
8-9 is never very fun, though. We do that often. All right, Joseph Norris. I wanted to make sure to get Joseph in here. Joseph, congratulations. He came up. He was at the live show.
Yes.
I never get in the chat. It's like you got to throw a lot of comments in there. But he got one, so let's just put it in there. That's why they need a rate increase. Politicians are an expensive pet to keep. Not sure the reference on that. I'm sure there was a reference there to something you were saying, Rob. But Joseph, you made the chat. Congratulations. You should stand up and take a bow.
Yes. Probably put it on his resume.
Yeah, there you go.
Permanent resume.
All right. We try to keep everybody
Joseph brought me a Rush Limbaugh 2F by teacup to the live show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I should have held out for a teacup before I put Joseph
I mean, it's
in there.
remember Rush had the 2F by tea?
Yeah.
And they gave cups away if you bought it. So he brought me a 2F by
Mad
teacup.
Duck was absent today out of the chat. Hope she's doing well.
Look, you people are going to need a doctor's note or some sort of parent's note if you're not going to be here.
Give us some sort of notice so we don't, we're not, because hey, where's Mad Duck? All right. Now, she may have said why she was out and I missed it. I don't know. But the old man starts us off this morning. I'm not sure yesterday. I didn't get in last night, unfortunately. And they it deleted again. So I'm not sure who was in first last night. Whoever it was, that it was you.
You know you won.
You know you won. You big winner. All right. The old man 68. Happy July 1st, everyone. Way to start us off this morning, MLM Warriors. Oh, so MLM Warriors must have been first. I can't wait to get Rob's take on all the Supreme Court rulings from yesterday. I'm waiting with bated breath. I think you did a pretty good job covering it all.
Thank you.
All right. Rusted Bolt Garage. Happy Hump Day. By the way, Rusted Bolt Garage, I think he put on the on my Facebook post where I did the photo dump from Saturday, which you all can find at Producer Jason.
You're growing
on Facebook.
Growing
it's growing. We're getting close to 200. Let's get it. Let's get more than we got the likes here. And I think I may have the day. But Rusted Bolt Garage, I believe, made the comment that he looked like a goober in the photo, and you do not look like a goober, Rusted Bolt Garage. You just look like a dude that wearing a hat, having a good time.
That's right.
At the live show.
No
we
goobers.
Appreciate it. Right. You were in a photo with Rob. That always means you're not the goober.
That's correct.
All right.
You're always the best looking person in any photo with me.
There we go. Kevin Branham. Good morning, Rob and Jason. Number one. Another communist wins in Colorado primary.
That's right. Another of the socially people one.
Yeah. Billy M4W. Hope everyone has a good day, and may your beer stay cold. I noticed even in here the water bottle is really perspiring today.
Yeah, it's a rough one out there.
Yeah.
What do you keep your house at?
Oh, that's a topic in the chat.
Oh, good,
we'll get
good,
to that.
good.
We'll do that. Debbie Holcomb. Well, I came here at 7:45 to be first. Should have known I'd be fifth. Got to get up pretty early in the morning to beat the old man, and apparently MLM Warriors, not sure who, by the way, speak of the devil, MLM Warriors. Thank you, old man. I see my comment about today being American Zoo Day, observed on July 1st, has been deleted. Okay, so MLM Warriors was last night. So, okay. First last night, old man first today. Your comment, yes, unfortunately, was deleted. Thank you for putting it back in there. Today, American Zoo Day.
There you go. American Zoo Day. Zoo
When's
Day.
the last time you've been to the zoo? Have you taken Livy to the zoo?
My wife and mother-in-law took Livy to the zoo.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, I was doing something.
Oh, okay. Didn't want to
It
smell the elephants?
was last year, I think.
Oh, okay.
Here's the deal with the zoo. It's a nightmare.
It's stinky.
Well, and I like to zoo.
You imagine what it smells like today?
I like to, yeah.
Good
But I
Lord.
mean, it's okay. It's expensive.
That's true.
And then you gotta pay for everybody who's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see a few things and you're like, okay. And then all the special exhibits, it's like 9 hours to get into.
Mm-hmm. And you can't go in the heat of the day because they're all hibernating.
The
or
animals
whatever
are
they do.
hiding.
Yeah.
Zoo's kind of a nightmare. The parking's bad. I love the
Yeah.
concept of the zoo. It's just not my thing.
Okay. Ethan Hatcher. What a wonderful Wednesday it is to watch the wacky and wrathful Rob Kendall show. Ethan's on his way to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was asking if he went or not. I didn't know.
Yeah,
if
he was texting while he was driving.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that because he was all over the chat and he said he was driving. So you get a ticket for that.
Maybe he's got the talk to text.
Oh, perhaps. The 06010 on YouTube. I don't think that's a thing.
There's got to be a
I don't think
dictation
that's
thing
a
on
thing.
YouTube.
06010 board. Please treat the like button as you would your vote. Make them earn it.
Oh,
he's okay.
Damn, I'd like to feel after like 5 months we've.
Well,
heard
you
that.
know, okay, we got more conversation. Ethan, back at it. Totally worth it, though. Okay, talking about his trip. This is the place to be on a weekday morning. Well, here's the place to be on a weekday morning is what he's saying there. Sorry, that was all out of context. All right, and Rusted Bolt Garage. What the hell, board? Making a comment about that like. And the 0601 board responds, give away the likes too easily and Rob will start showing up with wrinkled shirts and checked shirts It messes up the camera. That is right. See, gotta feet to the fire. And then adds, if we hit 200 plus likes before Jason time, then what is his motivation to bring the A game?
Oh, I see what he's doing
My
there.
motivation's there every day. Sometimes we don't get to 200. I still show up.
Yeah.
Almond Joy Tempo. Morning, y'all. It's hotter than a mug outside, and my office is freezing. My poor body doesn't know what's going on. One thing that irritates the hell out of me is when it's like a day like today, and you put shorts on and a shirt or whatever, and you go to a restaurant, and all the heavy workers are sweating, so they got the air conditioner cranked to 50, and you're freezing, and you say something like, well, you know, it's hot in here for us. I didn't come here for you.
Yeah.
So that maybe, you know, that irritates that. I've left before like that. It's like, well, if you're not going to turn down, I'm leaving. I'm not even ordering. That's
I don't know if I've ever seen you wear shorts.
Oh, I do. Yeah. That's I don't wear them to work. I'm a professional.
I mean, I don't know in all the years I've known you if I've ever seen you wear shorts.
I have shirts and T-shirts and shorts all the time. Yeah. Well, when have you ever seen me outside of work?
It's a good point.
We never. That's why we get along so well. We don't.
I used to come over to your house to watch The Sopranos.
Right. I'm sure.
But I don't remember seeing you wear shorts then either.
I probably put pants on when you came over, Rob. All right. MLM Warriors. 0601 board. Jason likes 200 likes. I do like 200 likes. We're probably not there today. Been a slow day. The 0601 board. Does a like at the start of a video mean more or less in the algorithm than one given near the end? No, I think they're all the same.
All the same.
You can like us before we even start.
If you don't feel like we got to earn it each day,
that's fine.
You know,
that's fine.
Whatever.
And we'll earn it, I believe. Rusted Bolt Garage. This is a great podcast. Views and likes raise the YouTube algorithms.
That's right.
Yes, they do.
Tell your friends.
That's right. Hit that like.
You've got friends. You people all have friends.
That's right.
Get your friends involved.
Charles Ludi. Charles Ludi. Good morning, Robblehead crew. It's so hot the chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. Bet Rust is having a hell of a time down there with all those hard-boiled eggs. I wonder if you get more for a hard-boiled egg than you could a regular egg.
One day I'd love to go watch Rust, like see what he does for a day, because you know he's he runs the place.
That'd be interesting.
All the places.
I'll have to go down there and maybe do a video. Ethan Hatcher, come on, Rob. Can't we at least have a little bit? Can't we at least be a little bit excited about Republicans, and I'll use the word pooping, all over Joe Hogsnot? I'm okay with that.
Oh, he's talking about because, like, Andrew Ireland wants him prosecuted.
Right.
Fine. But why now?
Because he's going to run again.
Well, but I mean, it's like, where are the the Republicans on the city council don't even hold him accountable.
Mears when we need them?
I just... Like, it's a joke, right? The whole thing, the same people who did nothing about Diego, now all of a sudden want Hogsett prosecuted. And it is just like, corruption is corruption. And we have this very horrible thing where one side always wants the other side prosecuted for corruption, but their guys, they're fine.
You know who we really miss? Carl Brizzy. He would be such a great guest to be talking about all
Brizzy
this,
would be great.
having been through it himself and whatnot.
Yeah.
I asked him one time about, he's like, is the mob a thing in Indianapolis? And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, I'm going to say no. And you probably shouldn't ask that. All right. Shrog Sandwich. Morning, everyone. Playing in the rock flower bed this morning. Got to get my elephant ears and banana plants in the ground. Well, Shrog, if you need any tips, I think we've
got great plants here.
We could help you
Very
out.
healthy.
Yep. Ours just seem to stay like beautiful every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Sue Seifert. I saw Hog's picture for the first time a couple days ago. Are you guys sure that's a real person? Seems awful plasticky.
Look, Hog's run a rough life, man. I mean, he's run hard for a long time.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing, though? Like, nobody acknowledges the obvious. That's why I really want him to run again. Because I think, like, Vop Osley, I don't see him just laying down and losing. And Hundley, I don't see her laying down and losing. It's also why I want Jesse Brown to run, because I feel like Jesse would bring all sorts of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody's got to hold this guy accountable, right?
Right.
Come on.
Right. Yeah, Shrog Sandwich. The mob is a thing in our government. And I've said that many times. The mafia moved from it's still illegal, moved from criminal to politicians.
Yeah.
Basically, they have the run of the place now. All right, Steve Green with an E. I don't have a problem with the Supreme Court I don't have a problem with the Supreme Court ruling. The text says what it says. If you want it changed, go through Congress.
Yeah, but you have to factor in original intent. Like, that's clearly part of it's a accepted judicial philosophy. It is clear when you look at original intent what they're talking about. I mean, I don't think that makes you an activist judge for saying who wrote this, what was going on at the time, what did they say at the time, and there's no way people 160 years ago were like, yeah, any illegal person who comes in here and just squats down in this country, just let them have it.
Well, but I think the point being made is, like the 06010 board says, a dysfunctional legislative branch is placing the judicial branch in a position to make the decisions because they won't. Again, if Congress would actually clarify these, then you would not be putting it into the Supreme Court or liberal judges on the circuit courts. Very good point. But why take on the responsibility when you don't have to?
Sure,
that's the way they look at it.
You're never going to get another constitutional amendment passed in this country. I mean, you're never going to get 2/3 of the states to agree on anything. You think California and Indiana are going to agree on something? They've two gerrymandered the states. Everybody's just gone. They don't like the way a state works. They leave, right? You're never going to get a constitutional amendment passed again. There's no way.
All right, the old man 68. Does the other Supreme Court decision mean that Trump can now fire or remove people from their government positions, i.e., district federal judges who issue nationwide injunctions?
So there were several rulings that came down in the last 2 days, and it was like a mixed bag because it was one lady was with the FTC, and there were different rulings. One of them, I mean, it was all over the map based on the process and procedure. I'm going to try over the weekend to dig into all of them because it's like some of them are so complicated. And by the way, guys, when these justices write these opinions, like we'll say, in the opinion, he said blah, 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 or she said blah, 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 blah. They're like 50, 60 pages a lot of the time. I think like Clarence Thomas's was 91 pages or something on birthright citizenship. I mean, that's why it takes them forever to issue the ruling. They actually did, was it CNN did this? They did a documentary on how the court operates. And basically kind of what happens is after they hear a case, they all get together and sort of sit around a table and they talk. And then you kind of get, not always 100%, but where they're leaning. And then there is times where they'll try to influence each other. And then ultimately, each judge retires to their own chambers. They have the clerks, et cetera. And then they say, okay, here's what my opinion's going to be. Sometimes they'll ask for information ahead of time. But then they just do, these clerks, they do countless hours of research to help write these opinions. Clarence Thomas is sitting there writing 91 pages.
Right.
And so that's why it takes so long for the rulings to get administered, because they write and they get research, et cetera, to back up the legal precedent of their ruling, which is why it takes so long. So you can't, I mean, you can, but there are news outlets who have just armies of people who sift through these rulings. I have an army of Rob Kendall. That's it.
There we go.
Because I'm not putting Jason on having to interpret the Supreme Court.
No, because I would deny it. When Sue made the point about a hog set looking plasticky, what was that at here? Baby fish mouth. Plasticky or pickled?
Yeah. He's a rough-looking dude. Yeah. I mean, he is an older guy now.
Probably pickled.
He's almost 70. I mean, not that that's elderly by any stretch, but I mean, when you've lived a lot. Hogsett, yeah.
Wow, he's that old?
Yeah, 68 or 69.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. He's lived a life, man.
No wonder he looks so bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was, what was he? Was he Secretary of State? He was Secretary of State in the early 90s after Evan Bayh.
Okay.
So, that was 35 years ago.
I keep forgetting, these people are older than me, and I'm no spring chicken.
That was 35 years ago. He'd been in his early 30s then.
Wow. All right. Charles Ludi. The ruling was based upon a conventional view of the 14th Amendment and not a traditional one. Drafters did not envision a rampant invasion of border crossings under the Biden administration by the millions.
Yeah, bingo. That's spot on. And Ludi's smart, so we'll go with him.
Right. Steve Green with an E. And Mrs. Green with an E was in the chat.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
She's decided to join us, which is the more the merrier.
Great.
But Steve says, I know this is radical, but I don't think we should be letting anyone in this country for any reason. There needs to be a complete moratorium on entry until we get this sorted out.
No, I told you. I said I saw that yesterday on certain people on social media, and they're like known people who were saying this, that the best thing Trump could probably do in light of this to force some sort of action is to just cut off entry to the country. And exactly what he just said there.
Right.
And that at least gets people's attention. Okay, now let's have the conversation about what's going on here.
All right, 06010 board. Need more Rob covering civics and important court cases. A little segment when the opportunity presents itself, such as today.
All right.
All right. And he added, now, in like all caps, now I press the like button. Hashtag earned.
Here's the problem with doing the court case stuff. I'm not a legal mind. I'm interested in public policy, but it takes me a long time to have to read all that stuff because I don't understand a lot of it. So it takes a lot of work to get into the because like with the legal stuff, you don't just want to go, well, my opinion is. You want to have some foundation of, based on a rule of law, here's why your opinion would be valid.
Right. And again, we talked earlier, I believe it was 06010 board, or maybe the old man, one of them, talked about how it should be Congress actually, passing these laws so that the judges don't have to do it. Sue points out, none of the people that are elected to write these laws have ever realized have never realized. Okay, wait a minute. Let me write this in. None of the people that are elected to write have ever realized they are the one to write the law. They all want to defer to unelected judges, such a BS system we've devolved into. And again, when you look at people like AOC and all these people in Congress, it's like you're expecting them to come up with logical answers and solutions to this stuff. They're not there to do what they're supposed to do, which is write laws. They're there to be entertainers and, that sort of thing. So that's good points by all. At least I don't know if that was their point or not. That's the point I made it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Steve Green with an E. That segment was fire. Bring in another commie and the chat might take down the Webernet. Okay. Okay, here we go. Everybody talking about the what they keep their AC set.
Yeah.
Everybody even talking about whether they have AC.
Oh, jeez.
VVGC, 74 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Chris Gaskin, 69 to 70. Kevin Branham, 68, new air conditioner. Oh. Adam Hurst, 76 to 77.
Whoa.
Cheryl Curry, 73. Rusted Bolt Garage. Maine is 73. Bedroom, 69. LD Stoltz, I prefer 70-ish, but my wife is Filipino, so we keep it at 74 because the wife, of course, always wins. The old man, 73. My electric bill doubled from May to June. Steve Green, 65. Says, let's see, what did he said something else down here about how Steve Green is a Marine, and he spent a lot of time where it was very hot, and he says he'll never do that as long as he can help it. He'll probably in the jungle or something there. Okay, he says, I spent most of my time overseas. Hot as God is my witness. I will never be hot again.
Oh, yeah,
Steve
okay.
Green with an E. There
understandable.
We go. Driver, two-story house, 71 to 74. Robert Schwartz, keep ours at 72. The old man. No, I'm sorry, Joseph Norris. Hey, Joseph, we got you in there twice. He keeps his 76 to 78. That'd be hot in my house. I'm usually... Right now, the last few days, it's been like we put it at 70. Yeah. Because you got 2 floors there and everything. Yep. And although we did get a new AC a couple years ago, which is way more efficient, feels colder now. But we used to have to keep the older one at 68. And it would still be hot as hell upstairs.
Right.
But it depends on how the sun hits your house and all that good stuff. What about your home, Roberto?
70 normally. The reason we did this is I said earlier that I told my wife yesterday, I said we're going up to 71. And she didn't have an objection to that because I said
until she does.
Well,
we'll try it.
I'm not concerned about I'm concerned. I was just concerned when it gets this hot about the thing overworking or something.
It can happen. Well, technically, like ours, I believe when we put on 70, it'll still pop up to about 72.
Yeah.
Because I shut vents downstairs to pump it upstairs and all that stuff. But the old one would be terrible. It would go up to 74. You get to 70, whatever when you have it set on 68. But efficiency does matter.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, man, that would be a disaster. To have it go out. It's like I'd rather be a little warm and have air conditioning.
Because we don't have an AC guy, do we?
No, we need one. If you're an AC guy, we need you. Yes. Where are you? Sales at robkendallshow.com. Sales at robkendallshow.com. KendallShow.com. There's all sorts of guys we need. Where are you people? Sales at RobKendallShow.com.
Yes. And you can contact any of our advertisers, and they will tell you they get response.
That's right.
So don't be afraid to spend, and spend a lot. Stephen Goodman popping in to say hi.
You know, I love his name, Stephen Goodman. You know, Steve Goodman was a famous blues singer from Chicago who wrote The City of New Orleans, which was a hit for Arlo Guthrie. And then he had a whole bunch. He was a Chicago legend, big Chicago Cubs fan. Every time I hear that guy's name, that's who I think of. It's not the same guy, though. But
Right.
That's who I think of.
Shares a name with famous. Charles Ludi, well-deserved day off, and happy birthday to producer Mom.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Jason's mom.
She appreciates that. And, Friday is her birthday, and it just so happens that we're making that a national holiday.
Worked out perfect because my kid's off daycare, so I had to watch her anyway.
There you go. Well, we needed a day off here. Bowden JM saw gas at 292 at West 86th Street and Ditch Road this morning. Just pointing that out.
Hey, you need to time that up right, too, because if Braun's not going to suspend the gas tax again, July 7th, I think, is the last day.
Oh.
So you might want to plan accordingly.
Fill up so you can run
I think he's going to do it
days.
again, but I could be wrong.
Somebody that I was just thinking about yesterday that we haven't seen in the chat in a long time, Courtney Hill.
Oh, yeah.
See, Courtney, we think about all you people.
Yeah.
She says, so late to the party and a long time no see, pals. That's
Pals
correct.
with a Z?
No, with an S.
Did
I pronounce it with a Z?
No, I just...
Okay. John McKinney.
Black Sheep Plumbing.
Yes, sir.
Sponsor of this chat.
Yes, sir. Indiana's dirty secret. We can't build roads. It's why 2 years after they pave a road, it's full of potholes, and we never have enough money for the roads. I think they do that on purpose just to keep those guys working and keep the business there. Because who gets those contracts? Probably the cronies, probably the buddies, and we'll keep your guys working.
There's been a conversation for a while about that. Nikki Kelly, I think, mentioned that on our show, one of her recent appearances. I mean, they really need to have just like a formal audit of NDOT and explain to the public, here's why we can't maintain the roads.
Right. Because they're closed all the damn time. Northeast, I haven't been north of Interstate 70 in I don't know how many months, or maybe even going on to a couple years, because it's always red up there. You look at the map, it could be 2:00 in the morning, and there's a red streak up through there where they're working on everything. I think they're finally
took my
done.
mom to a doctor's appointment last week, and we had to go up to Meridian. And I told her, I said, I have been driving, because one of my first jobs in radio was WXNT 1430, ran the Indians. I was a producer for the Indians. And it was right there. I don't know if the station's still there or not anymore, but the building was right there off Meridian. And it's like, that was 24 years ago. It was under construction then. I said, this interchange, this place has been under construction for 20 some odd years, and it never seems to get any better.
There's no photo of that intersection not being under construction.
It's just like, I
bet you could go back in the Google Maps, because sometimes you can go back, especially places that are well-traveled. They have a lot of you could go back historically. I bet you never find one where they're not working on that.
It was okay going, but coming home, and we got done a little after 3:30, so not rush hour, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to beat it. It took an hour and 15 minutes to get home, and all of it was getting through that stretch of 31, when you merge there onto 465, and it's like, why is it always like this?
Progress, Rob. It's making your life easier.
Good grief.
And it's only costing you taxes. Andy Engel, hey all, good morning. Only here briefly. I have to go to the dentist shortly to repair a cracked molar.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hopefully that goes well.
Yeah, hopefully you're not sitting in traffic. Hopefully it's not up Meridian Street. Drew, isn't the typical non-compete clause in radio 6 months?
I don't know.
I don't know where he was even talking about. Sue Seifert. Drew, interesting thought on the NDA. I don't know what you people are even getting at there. Charles Ludi, Trump and his spawn are making bank off of insider trading. He talks out of both sides of his mouth.
That was a staggering amount of money that I laid out. I mean, and look, nobody's out alleging he broke any laws or anything like that. My whole thing is, and I hate agreeing with Todd Young on anything, but Todd Young's right. They got to cut all this stuff off. Look, if you're in public service, that's an honor. You shouldn't be making money off of it. And you should know it going in. What I got's what I got. What I get out, you want the power. Part of power is you got to give something up, right?
That's right.
I mean, you're in the billions this guy has made off being president. That's not good.
Yeah, the idea is you load up that cart and buggy and you head off to Washington, you do your job, and you come back home and you work back in the fields again. the way it should be. Baby Fishmouth, political self-enrichment is reprehensible, and that should be a nonpartisan issue. That's right. Kevin Branham, where's Duck? That's what I asked. Where's Duck? Hopefully Duck's okay. Rusted Bolt Garage, just wondering that myself. Well, all of us are wondering that. I mean,
she's gone from a chat for the day. She's not on America's Most Wanted or Unsolved Mysteries.
Well, we don't know. I want to know.
I want to know.
All right. Last one today. Let's see. We got Mom's birthday in there, which we appreciate. Okay, C-Mills.
C-Mills!
Topping us off today.
He's still alive.
It's wing night at Double D's. Might be going after.
Oh, boy.
Going for dinner.
I bet C-Mills is a lot of fun to hang out with.
The boy can talk. He's got stories. And his stories go on and on and on. You're at no loss of conversation when you're talking with C-Mills. He's an awesome dude. He's got funny stories. He's a good dude. Like him. Let's see if we had anything else here, which we always do because all the comments are great. But I wasn't keeping up on the current ones. But that'll do it for the Rock Laws. Happy birthday, producer mom. Oh, there we go. The old man. Happy birthday, producer mom. Oh, see, that's
I don't mean to ask, but it's like a tribute. If you don't mind sharing, if you do,
I don't think she cares.
How old will your mom be?
Well, I'll say she'll be in her late 80s. We'll put it there.
Your mom, Jason's mom,
and no medication.
It's amazing.
She's going to outlive everybody.
It's amazing. Jason's mom is timeless. So anyway. She's timeless.
There we go. Absolutely. All right. Beautiful is the day she was born.
Yeah.
I wasn't around then, but that's what they say. All right. So that'll do it for me in the chat. So long, everybody. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Again, stay cool out there. Take care of your friends, your neighbors. Check on them. And tell people about us. We can really use the help trying to grow the program. Look, this happens in radio, as you may be noticing, and it happens in all sorts of political talk. It's tough sometimes during the summer, but you guys are awesome. You keep us growing. You keep us thriving, but we need you guys to keep the word going out there for us. So tell some people about us today. Do us a favor. Try to pick us up a listener or two if you can. You guys have an awesome rest of your day. Hit the thumbs up button before you leave us. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching. You've been listening to Rob Kendall Show.